talking franchises here, bud.
Hey, we're doing an episode on The Shining. That's kind of a big deal. Hey, I'm Danny Ehrenberg, aka Doc, and over there is Logan Adair. How's it going, Logan?
Wait a second. I think I can see blood spilling out of my elevator. I'll be right back. All right.
You have an elevator in your house? That's amazing.
All right. I'm back.
right.
Yeah.
Was it
we
blood?
just installed it last week. It was
Wow.
blood. Yeah. I guess I'll have to clean it up, but it's done spilling for the minute.
That's good. That's good. It's just sort of locked up in that shaft.
Yeah. All locked up. Danny, come play with us, Danny. Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, man. I gotta tell you, I never had a big wheel as a kid, and I wanted one.
Is that the coolest thing in a movie?
What, him driving that big wheel real fast?
Yeah, following him around and it going like
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things for sure. I gotta say, and it's like I could have watched it longer. Like for some reason,
Yeah.
it's very compelling. And he's going so fast.
Yeah, I could watch it. That could be a movie.
I think about how Kubrick made them do like 100 takes of everything in this fucking movie, and like, did that kid's legs get worn out? You think?
No, that was
He had to go fast.
That was like 4 takes, probably.
Maybe, but I mean, Shelley Duvall. You know, I read at one point Slim Pickens, who's like an old white cowboy actor, was offered the Scatman Crothers role first, and his only demand was, "I won't do over 100 takes of a scene," and Kubrick turned him down.
Yeah, that's what we need. Sorry.
He's a fucking maniac, man. All right. Let's get into The Shining, which is
Yeah.
now considered a classic.
First of
but-
all,
yeah.
I mean, first of all, do we want to go back to last week and read what we said about Wednesday? What people had to say about Wednesday?
Why don't we do that?
Or should we do it at
Let's
the end?
do it at the end. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do a little segment at the end, a recap of last week.
All right. So stay tuned for that. But I want to say, I don't want this to be like a I know there's so much stuff out there about The Shining.
Listen. Before you say anything further, right after I watched The Shining, my girlfriend put on the movie Room 237, which I'd never seen before. Okay. And that has all of those conspiracy theories about what's really going on in The Shining and shit. And I was half watching it because it was during the first game of the Rangers playoffs. And so I watched it like between periods, but that was like 40 minutes. And those people, everyone that appears in that movie, like, I wish that movie was like To Catch a Predator, where like they invite people in to talk about their Shining theories, and then they're so crazy and stupid that they are immediately sent to prison.
No, a ton of people believe it. This is like a real thing.
None of the things that were brought up in the movie were remotely plausible, were remotely his intentions. All the shit about Native Americans, all the shit about the Holocaust, none of that
moon
shit.
Landing.
The moon landing thing, none of it. We landed on the moon, first of all. Jesus fucking Christ. Can we get through our heads by now? I just think it's all bullshit.
Yeah, but that's my point. I don't want to get into it.
There's no way Kubrick was thinking about the fucking Holocaust. Like, and you know what? It like, every one of them like set it up, explaining why they would think this way, and then completely ignore that. They're like, well, I was a Holocaust scholar, and so that was on my mind. But then I saw this movie, and I was like, it's about the Holocaust. What are you talking about?
I agree. I think it's stupid. That's why I don't really want to get into any of it. I'm sure there are a bunch of other podcasts that do.
Yeah, that's the furthest we'll go into.
I just want to talk about this movie. It's a good movie.
I agree. I want to talk about what's actually on the screen.
Yes.
But first, let me give you some background. How about that?
Yeah. I heard it took like a year and a half to make this movie, right?
A little less than that, but yeah, it took over a year filming, and Nicholson wasn't happy because he doesn't like working that hard, and he was dating Angelica Houston at the time, and he just wanted to like go fuck her.
Is that true? Nicholson wasn't committed at all? I feel like that's kind of
no. Of course he commits, of course, but I don't think he expected the wear and tear to be as hard as it was. And Shelley Duvall, of course, like she was miserable. Like the way Kubrick was treating her and how many takes they were doing per scene, like she got physically sick and her hair started falling out.
A lot of people say this like ruined her career and stuff, which I don't really think's that true, but people like to say that like ruined her mentally.
Yeah, people do say that. And I gotta say, like, there was an interview with her where they caught up with her in the Hollywood Reporter recently, and or maybe like 6 months ago, something like that. She still sounds not well.
Yeah, but was it this movie?
I don't
Like,
think I think this movie just might have been her breaking point. Like she might have already been going through some shit and this movie just like ended it. Like I don't know. She had like a really good career in the 70s and after this it kind of went nowhere.
Popeye, isn't that after this?
I think it's the year before this actually or the same year as this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I
But
don't
she
really know
worked
much
with
about
Altman a lot, she's in Three Women.
Nashville.
which
She in
is-
that one?
I'm not sure.
I
She,
made
I
that
think
up.
she is. She might be, but she's definitely in Three Women, which is a masterpiece, and she's like the lead of that movie.
Annie
Well,
Hall. She's
her and Sissy.
she's part in Annie Hall, where Woody Allen's
Yep.
like, I love going down on women, but it hurts my tongue. I do it so well. Something like that.
Hey man, just consider yourself lucky you never got around to Zeta Jones.
Yeah, that could have been disastrous.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people would love to see Woody get cancer at this stage of his career, but you know,
Right.
I still have a little respect for the guy. All right. Let's go into the process of making it, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Kubrick wrote and directed this. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Diane Johnson was his co-writer. Now, initially, King wrote the first draft. Stephen King, who wrote the book that it's based on, but he included all this like supernatural afterlife stuff, and Jack Torrance became like a force ghost at the end, and so Kubrick, who doesn't believe in the afterlife and refuses to put any mention of the afterlife in any of his movies, turned down that script.
That's
and
pretty
and
cool.
Stan and Stephen King was like, "See, he didn't believe. That's why the movie doesn't work."
Is that a part of the book where he goes to the afterlife? Because it's not in
No,
the TV movie.
it is. What are you talking about? At Danny's graduation,
Oh, of course.
we
Of
come
course.
forward to Danny's graduation at the end, and Steven Weber is there as a force ghost.
I was picturing like him in the further, like from Insidious.
Oh no, it's not quite like that. But Danny like has telepathy in the book. Like he's communicating with Jack and with Scatman Crothers. Like
Isn't
Scatman
that
Crothers
called The
only
Shining?
makes. Well, yeah.
Not telepathy.
Yeah, but I feel like the movie doesn't really get into that. Like he just sort of knows shit preternaturally in the movie. And he gets like visions and stuff, but they really the shining stuff isn't really incorporated until Doctor Sleep.
Right, way more. Which I think is actually a cool idea, Doctor Sleep. I saw see you don't really like it, but maybe your opinion changed. I don't know. Maybe it didn't.
It did a little.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Diane Johnson ended up being his co-writer. She was a novelist. This is the only movie she has a credit on, I'm pretty sure. And her most famous novel to me anyway, because it was made into a movie, was Le Divorce. Remember that?
No. I don't know what
It
you even
came
just
out-
said. Say it normally.
It's Le Divorce.
Lay divorce. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. But I like to I used to call that movie La Divorce.
Oh my
But it was Kate Hudson and Naomi Watts, who are kind of too similar looking to be in a movie together.
God.
And
I don't know if that's true.
look at the poster of that movie. It looks like fucking Suits, like two of the same guy.
You said Kate Hudson?
Yeah.
Naomi Watts is like if Kate Hudson and Nicole Kidman had a baby. She's like
I like
normal
that.
but exotic at looking at the same time.
Naomi
Naomi.
Watts?
I
How
think
is she
so.
exotic looking? She just looks like a blonde lady. Like she's beautiful, but
Or like I don't know, she has like weird eyes.
does she?
I always thought so.
I don't know. I was sort of surprised that Naomi Watts made it as an actor because she looks sort of generic.
Really? Wow,
Yeah,
that's
she's
really
just
that's
really
neat.
good.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah. And very few people succeed on talent.
More than you'd think.
Yeah, I guess more these days.
Though I was thinking
Um,
the little boy from the Shining movie. I was like, this is the ugliest kid I've ever seen. And then I was watching it and I was like, he's pretty good. I kind of like him. So he
from the
succeeded on
original
talent.
Shining?
No, no. Oh, did I say that? I meant from the TV movie, The Shining.
Oh, really? Yeah, I heard they had trouble casting that. They had trouble casting it for the movie too. We'll
I
get
thought he
into
did a
it.
good job.
All right. Anyway, the genesis of the movie was Barry Lyndon came out in 75, I believe, and
Yeah, that's right.
it both it both didn't make any money and it got sort of mixed reviews, sort of even more negative than positive. It's been reevaluated over time. I think it's the second best movie. I think The Shining's the third
I've
best
heard
movie.
people say that's the best movie ever. Barry
I
Lyndon.
like that opinion.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see it. If I had to
Yeah,
make a list of like movies that I want to see, that would probably be like top three that I haven't
that
seen.
that'll be my rec for next week. How
I
about
love
that?
it. I love it. I love it.
Okay. All right. So Kubrick decided horror was the way to go. And the reason for this is because he made Barry Lyndon instead of The Exorcist. The Exorcist was offered to him and he considered making it, but he was like, horror's dumb. So he didn't. And then William Friedkin made it, and it was both like a box office success and like nominated for Oscars and shit. So Kubrick asked for horror books, send me horror books, and he hated almost all of them. And he said the only one he made it through the whole thing was The Shining, and so he's like, I'll make that.
I've heard the story of like his assistant or somebody or his wife or somebody like sitting in the other room while he's reading these books and he would like throw them against the wall. She kept
Yeah,
hearing him like hit the wall. And then he like The Shining, she never heard it hit the wall. And she was like, oh, I
yeah,
guess he likes The
I,
Shining.
yeah. She said it was his assistant. You're absolutely right, and she said that like she hadn't heard a crash against the wall in a while, so she decided to go in there, and he was like engrossed in The Shining.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always love the way she told that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a cool story. Um, Jack Nicholson
By the way,
was
I want to, it's so cool that like the top horror or top director in the world just decided, I'm going to make a horror movie. Isn't that cool? Like now I
yeah,
feel like our top directors kind of are horror, like Jordan Peele, like they are horror directors. But it'd be like if Christopher Nolan made a horror movie, right? Oppenheimer's a little horror-y, but if you fully
no,
went
come
into,
on, yeah, he'd
there's
never
that one
do it
scene. Isn't that so cool? I have a lot
because
of respect
Nolan
for that.
doesn't have range, man. He makes the same movie over and over again. Whereas, fucking Kubrick, like you look at 2001, and then Clockwork Orange, and then Barry Lyndon, and then The Shining, and then Full Metal Jacket, and then Eyes Wide Shut. They're totally different movies.
Right. They're completely
They were
different.
they retain his style, but they're in entirely opposing genres.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he liked to stretch himself. Nolan's just comfortable in his little corner.
Oh, come on. Dunkirk is different from The Dark Knight.
Yeah, but like I feel like Dunkirk and Oppenheimer are his two attempts at making like adult dramas.
Interstellar, I think. Those
Nah,
three.
Interstellar is the same as Tenet, which is the same as Inception,
All
which
right,
is
maybe
this.
that's fair. I think Interstellar is a little better than those.
I
More
prefer it.
more advanced.
Interstellar is my favorite non-Batman Nolan film, I believe.
I think mine's Oppenheimer at this point, probably.
All right.
Or The Prestige.
You keep that one.
Uh,
It's okay. It's okay. It's like a 3. But all right, back to The Shine. Jack Nicholson was the first choice of Kubrick.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. Chris Christopherson was his backup if Nicholson said no.
Blade.
Yeah.
What's his name in Blade?
Well, his name was Whistler.
The Whistler, yeah. Or just
Yeah.
Whistler.
Just
What the
Whistler.
Whistler was from Buffy.
No, that's also Whistler.
Oh, really? Just both?
Yeah, yeah. They both have the same name.
Damn.
Just saying Buffy did it. Oh no, I think Blade did it first. Maybe Buffy ripped it off.
Hmm.
All right.
That's not the only thing Buffy ripped off from Blade.
Oh yeah, that big fat guy.
A big fat guy. Yeah.
That's funny. All right. So Stephen King's choices for the lead were John Voight, Michael Moriarty, or Martin Sheen.
That's interesting. I don't like John Voight. Martin Sheen's kind of good though.
Yeah, Michael Moriarty's not a choice. He's like the dude that was the lead in Troll. He played Harry Potter in Troll.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So what happens here is the reason he didn't want Nicholson was Nicholson at that point was best known for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, in which he's crazy. And so his contention was people are going to perceive him as crazy, like right from the start of the movie, whereas he wanted his Jack Torrance to sort of slowly go crazy over time, living in the Overlook. And he may have a point there, but I don't care. I mean, eventually he put Steven Weber in his version. Like, I like Steven Weber, but I would argue he's not as good an actor as Jack Nicholson.
I thought he was good, and he's way more normal than Jack is. I got to admit. I mean, the big thing with The Shining, a lot of people like the thing has been you know immediately he's going to kill his family. What you just said, and I kind of got that this time, honestly. Like whenever
No,
the guy,
I always get it.
oh, okay, you.
I always get it. I just don't give a shit.
Right, I don't really care either. But the guy's explaining like, yeah, the last guy that was here murdered his whole family, and very deliberately while that guy's saying it, it's a shot on Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's face is just the blankest stare. He has no reaction to it. Like, oh wow, that's crazy. He's just like just looking at him immediately. I think you know what's happening. So
I mean, it's like they do the whole setup when they get to the Overlook Hotel, and he's like relatively normal in that scene, even though we know that he is 5 months sober as an alcoholic, and at one point violently pulled his son's arm out of its socket. Like, he's not the best guy off the bat, but I think Stephen King has more sympathy for dudes like that because he was a real low bottom alcoholic himself.
Well, this is about him. Remember,
of course
he stayed at a hotel and was like the last person there and got the idea.
He was even pissed off they didn't shoot at the hotel that like inspired.
I think they did in the movie,
the
in
book.
the TV, isn't it?
Of course, Stephen King like corrected everything he thought was
He
wrong.
corrected the situation.
He what?
And remember in the scene in the bathroom where he's like, "My daughters didn't like it, so I corrected the situation."
Oh, good call. Yeah,
it's like the whole thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't get references a lot.
Yeah. That's been a whole thing with you forever. I remember, like,
I know
Henry, you'd be like, you don't get references.
Yeah, well, Henry loves to make references,
Me too.
and I'm always lost. But all right, back to the casting. Kubrick wanted the kid from Close Encounters.
Interesting.
But the kid's parents were like, "It's too dark. We won't let our kid appear in that." So
but he didn't say, because I think the thing with this kid is he didn't even know he was in a horror movie, right? So they could.
Yeah, they told him he was in a drama the whole time.
Why didn't they say it to the Close Encounters parents?
I think the Close Encounters parents had to read the script. So even though Kubrick wasn't gonna like tell the kid, they still were just uncomfortable with him appearing in a movie like that.
I wonder like how they got some of those like how do they get him to like Rad Rob? How does he think he's in a fucking drama? And like the shot, do they just like pretend like you just saw something shocking? And he's like,
I don't know.
It's crazy.
When you're that age, you haven't seen a lot of movies.
Yeah, I was blown away by the little kid in this movie.
I think he's incredible. The fucking voice he does for Tony is so consistent and so perfect and really sounds like otherworldly. He's really good. He was only in 2 things. After this, he played young G. Gordon Liddy in something, one of the Watergate thieves, and it's something based on his autobiography. Well, I don't know why they wanted to make that, but he's in it. And then he never acted again until he has a cameo in Dr. Sleep.
Wait, did he really? I didn't notice that. Who is he?
Yeah, you don't notice him. You can't he's a grown man now. He's just been a school teacher for years. And
Is he a well-adjusted person?
yeah, yes, very. Apparently he's a really successful school teacher.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but he's in the scene with Jacob Tremblay at the ballpark.
Oh, wow. Is he
Yeah.
one of the guys in the stands like, "Oh, this kid's good." Like
Yeah, I think so.
he has a line, he says that. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
You could argue he's the MVP though, because I think at times like Jack's a little silly, and you can kind of see the points where it's like take 78, and they're in Jay, he's like just jumping back into character. But the kid was just consistent throughout, I thought. And Shelly's just like she's freaking out the whole movie. It's a
Yeah.
great performance. Like it's amazing she was able to do this, but I don't know. It's not very like measured or anything. She's just going for it.
My favorite performance in the movie is fucking Scatman Crothers.
Yeah, Halloran's great. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
so sweet.
I know he's
I
such a
forget how
likable
sweet he is.
character.
Yeah, I love his
Okay.
naked women posters. That's always what I.
I
remember.
love that too, man. That is so funny. Those like nude black exploitation shots in his bedroom because he seems like sexless at first. Like he has all this like alone time with Shelley Duvall, and he like it says nothing creepy whatsoever.
Is he supposed to? She's
I don't know.
married.
No. I'm just saying, like a lot of dudes back then were weird, and I mean they still are. Dudes are weird.
Dudes
And-
are weird.
And he but when he gets home, he gets down.
He gets down. I love it because it's the one photo, and then the next it cut to another photo on the other wall.
Yeah, he's got one on top of his TV, but then he's got one on top of his bed frame.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I want that photo. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get the balls poster. I'm gonna have like all my favorite stuff from what we talk about in my room.
Balls poster. Yeah,
For Buffy,
we're
guys.
like a season past the fucking balls poster.
No way.
And you are still talking about it.
It's the best thing ever. I'm surprised everyone else doesn't talk about it.
It's so funny. All right, so the movie comes out May 23rd, 1980, same day as The Empire Strikes Back, by the way.
Same day?
Yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah.
What? Why? How did I not know that? That's the greatest day ever. I know.
I know.
Is it like Gremlins and Ghostbusters came out on the same day or something like that? I always thought that
Something
was
like that.
like the best, but The Shining and The Empire Strikes Back is infinitely better.
Yeah, very cool. The movie cost $19 million to make, and it came in with $47.3 million at the box office. It was a hit.
A little bit.
Came in at number 14 at the box office that year. Made a little bit less than Urban Cowboy, but John Travolta, but a little bit more than Seems Like Old Times.
What about
with Chevy
Travolta as
Chase.
Jack? I honestly feel like he kind of would have been good, kind of.
Yeah, that's why I was so silent.
What's
I
that?
was
The
thinking
Palma
about
movie,
it.
like that era. If he was in The Shining,
Blowout.
Yeah, Blowout, but he's in The Shining.
Yeah, that could have worked, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Johnny T. All right, but no, he was being an urban cowboy that year, and that was a bigger hit. But this made slightly more than Seems Like Old Times with Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn.
Okay.
All right, I've seen both of those movies. They're both
I
okay.
assume you have. I assume
Yeah.
you've seen every movie you mentioned, unless you say otherwise. I'm just like, oh yeah, he loves that one.
That can't be true, but I have seen a lot of movies, gang.
More than anybody I know.
According to Letterboxd, I've seen 7,137
Oh my
movies in my
God.
life.
Well, that's not true. Some of those are like you log everything you've ever seen. Some of those are miniseries and 30 for 30s and doc. I guess documentaries
Yeah,
count.
but still, I feel like you can maybe cut that 137. I've seen around like 7,000 movies.
I've only seen 2014. So
We'll get there, buddy.
I'll
You
get
will. Honestly, I was trying to on Hey, I'm Watching Here this week, patreon.com/the franchise. I was trying to get you a recommendation, and everything I was clicking on, you'd seen already.
seen a lot of stuff at this point.
Yeah, you've done well.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
No problem.
Did you ever recommend me something though? In the text? I kind of missed
Yeah,
it.
I did.
I guess
did.
this is for us, not for the podcast.
What was it that I recommended you?
I don't know. I have to go find it because I
Oh,
think I
Y
missed
tu
it.
mama, Y tu
Oh yeah,
mama también.
right. That'll be great.
All right. Now, what do we got? It's awards time. You want to talk
Yeah, I
about
bet
some of
that.
the
Oh,
awards this one?
AFI time, right? This has got to be nominated for. I love when we get to these big like Silence of the Lambs because these are the AFI baby, right?
This has AFI stuff, but I will warn you, the no Oscar nominees, no BAFTAs, no
What
Golden Globes,
cinematography?
nothing.
That's stupid. We were so
And you
dumb.
know what this movie does have?
What?
2 Razzie noms.
Okay, no music nomination.
No.
Music, cinematography. Those seem like so obvious. All right, yeah. What are the Razzies?
Shelley Duvall was nominated for Worst Actress, which was later rescinded by the Razzies when
How
they
often do
found
they do
out.
that?
They've only done it twice. When they found out Kubrick treated her bad on the set, they took that nom away, and they also did the same thing to Bruce Willis after like his family came out that he had aphasia.
During what did he win for, or what was he nominated for?
Oh, they
Just one of his.
did a category in 2021 that was worst performance by Bruce Willis in a Bruce Willis movie,
Oh my
and
gosh!
because he was doing like those constant like direct to DVD shits back then.
Right.
Yeah, but they
That's
rescinded that.
embarrassing for them.
It is. It is. I mean, the Razzies are faintly embarrassing just in their existence.
Yeah.
Um, Shelley Duvall lost Worst Actress to Brooke Shields for The Blue Lagoon.
Your favorite, right?
That's a great movie about kids fucking. And nominated for Worst Director was Stanley Kubrick.
What are we doing?
I know. Also nominated in that category, by the way, Brian De Palma for Dress to Kill,
Yeah.
and William Friedkin for Cruising.
Are we
Both
just
great
joking?
movies.
Is this like a parody thing?
No, because the winner was Robert Greenwald for Xanadu, which was very poorly
Oh.
received at the time. And I'll tell you what, I've seen Xanadu. It's pretty good.
Oh, really? I always heard
Yeah,
that's like a joke movie.
underrated. Underrated.
Don't you
Uh,
like Birdemic and Troll 2 though? Like you love those.
no, I don't like Xanadu the same way though. I think
Okay.
Xanadu is actually legit.
Okay. All right.
All right. Birdemic. Yeah, that's a great one.
The Room, same thing.
Yeah, of course. The Room is amazing. It's hard to describe my feelings toward The Room because it's a bad movie, but it's also just the earnest effort that went
Yeah,
into it. Like it's kind of moving on some level.
it is.
Almost like American movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Mm.
comparison.
All right. Saturn Awards gave it some noms. We'll give the Saturn Awards credit for being ahead of their time. How about that?
So Saturn is between Uranus and Neptune. Saturn, whoa, sci-fi blessed films.
Kubrick was nominated for Best Director there, but he lost to Irving Kershner for a film that was released on the same day as The Shining, The Empire Strikes Back.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, not really fair, but it's fine.
It's fine.
It was nominated for Best Horror Film of the Year,
What one?
but it lost
Friday the
to
13th?
No, come on. It lost to The Howling.
Ooh. All right. I would go. I mean, I really like The Howling actually,
The Howling is
but it's not The
great,
Shining.
but yeah, The Shining is like. I feel like when you ask people what's the best horror movie of all time, if you ask like 1,000 people, I feel like the answer you're gonna hear most is The Shining.
Or The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Those two. Or
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah, I was gonna say Halloween because that might be my answer.
And a lot of people saying, does Jaws count?
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna say that. I don't think it does.
Yeah.
All right.
Or does Silence of the Lambs count? Might hear that too.
You might hear that too. And that might count.
Yeah.
Best music nomination there. It's all the ones you called out earlier. But it lost to Somewhere in Time, which is a movie where like Christopher Walken goes to the past through like a painting or something. I've seen it a
Okay.
few times, but it escapes me a little
It's like
bit.
Blue's Clues when they go through the TV, right?
Well, I never watched Blue's Clues. I'm too
Oh,
old
they
for that
travel
shit.
through the TV sometimes.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Wow, sounds really cool.
It's like The Ring. a little bit.
Why
The
haven't they made
reverse.
a live action Blues Clues movie?
It's a great question. I don't know. They really
Here's what
never
they
did?
should do. No, they should do live action Bluey and then live action Blues Clues and then do a crossover movie.
Is Bluey a porn thing?
No, what? Bluey is that Australian kids show.
Oh, you okay? You made it sound like a creepy inside joke.
No, it is the best kids show on TV right now, according to many.
I thought
I've watched
Paw
a few
Patrol
episodes.
or Peppa Pig.
Dude,
Does Peppa
get
Pig
the-
still exist?
Those are popular kids shows, but Bluey is watchable as an adult.
Oh, really? That's pretty.
Yeah.
Cool. I
All
like
right.
Paw Patrol. I've seen an episode or two.
I've seen a couple episodes too, and I mean, if you saw that past the age of 7, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Okay, Scatman Crothers, how about this? Won the award for Best Supporting Actor of the Year at the Saturn Awards.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, AFI. Let's hear that AFI theme.
AFI.
Oh, thanks, Henry.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I wrote to Henry, but I wrote to him kind of late, and so he hasn't gotten back to me yet. I told him he has like a few hours left.
No,
this
tell him
morning.
he has until like what time is it for him? I don't know.
No, no, I told him that. I gave him like a time, his time that we'd be done by.
I mean, he can do it
Oh.
by like in the next like 5 hours or so. I'll wait. I don't care.
All right, so I might get a text from Henry during this episode. We'll see.
Okay, I love it. I think
All
that's
right,
even if he doesn't for this one, I think that would be a fun segment, like recurring, if he wants like that to be a thing.
I would only do it for movies I know he cares about, but this
Okay.
is definitely one he cares about a lot.
Yeah, it's his favorite
Um,
director ever.
It is. It is. All right. So the AFI, the American Film Institute, our old friends, they decided this is the number 29 most thrilling movie of all time.
Interesting. I think the
Okay.
most thrilling part, I thought about this. That nobody dies until Scatman. Like you're just holding on to it the entire time, you know? Not a single person dies. We had these 2 little girls that are dead already, but
Yeah.
Nobody
and,
dies.
And the lady in the bath.
right.
Yeah. You know, it is thrilling. I'll say that. Like, I never get bored watching The Shining. I've seen
No,
it a
no, no.
bunch.
Can I tell you about that? When I was like a little kid, I always thought the runtime for The Shining was like 2 hours and 50 minutes. And it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. And now we get those every single, like every movie is 2 hours and 20
It's
minutes.
true. You can't escape a 2 hour and 20
It's
minute
great. The
movies.
Shining flies by now.
Yeah, it's true. Number 25 villain of all time, Jack Torrance.
Wow, pretty low.
Yeah. And how about this? Here's Johnny, the number 68 movie quote of all time.
All right. I like, what about all work and no play makes Jack? That's not, oh, did they say that? Or is that just written down a bunch?
That's just written down, I think. But
never
I
actually
mean,
say
it's
it.
still a great quote. Number 68 quote, though, here's Johnny, is interesting on a few levels because Jack Nicholson ad-libbed that. And it's a reference to like Johnny Carson's entrance that Ed McMahon says at the beginning of every episode of The Tonight Show. Right. But Stanley Kubrick didn't watch The Tonight Show, so he didn't know it was a reference.
What the
to
fuck was
anything.
that, Jack? Yeah.
No. He thought it was really good.
Oh,
And then he included it in the movie. And then when people asked about it, he was like, fuck, I didn't know that.
really, he never asked Jack what that was. He was like, "Your name
He
is."
just thought it was a
Jack
weird-
in the movie,
Yeah.
right? You're not Johnny. Why'd you say that?
He just thought it was a weird ad lib.
He never was like curious. Why? That's crazy. What a weird guy.
I know he's like a perfectionist about everything else, but he was like, that was
All right,
fun.
that's
Let's
cool.
include that.
That's so weird. All right.
Yeah. Oh, can I?
What about Red Rum?
Yeah,
Red Rum. Is that a good quote?
that's a great quote, but no, it's not in there. Here's
right.
Johnny.
Yes. Can I bring up these 2 other quotes, by the way?
Yeah, bring up more quotes.
There are a lot of quotes. I love this one because I think this really stuck with me. I think this is the turning point of the movie, basically. I think this is like really about alcohol. I mean, I know it is, but like the alcohol is like really what turns him, I think, because he says, I'd give my goddamn soul for just a glass of beer. And then that's like when
I
when he
know.
gets the beer, and that's like when everything goes crazy at that moment.
I know exactly what you're talking to, because every time I watch the movie, I sort of expect the Overlook Hotel to just go, granted.
Yeah, that seems like that's kind of the moment where it all. He says he literally says, "I'm gonna give my soul for a beer," and then the beer is there. I think that's what happens literally. And then earlier in the movie, whenever Wendy is her name, she comes in and she's like, "Hi, hun, how's it going? Get a lot written today? The weather forecast says it's gonna snow tonight. Well, I'll come back in a few minutes with a couple sandwiches, and maybe you'll let me read something."
That's one of your favorite quotes in the movie?
It's so good. Yes, it's so good because it's such a good depict. I mean, I'm not a writer or anything, but I edit all the time, and it's such like a lonely process. You feel what this guy's feeling, and then when you're like really doing it, and then someone comes in like, "Hi, how's it going? Did you get a lot done today?" It's like the most annoying thing ever. Like you really feel it. I really felt it for the first time. I think like this viewing really, and I love when he's throwing the ball on the wall. I would do that the whole time, right? That's so fun.
Yeah, I've done a fair amount of that kind of shit.
That's awesome.
Here's something I forgot about The Shining. There's like a million headers. It's like fucking Clerks.
Headers? Oh, like
yeah,
Wednesday.
like little titles of segments.
I love it. I think it's so awesome.
I like it too, but
And the sound that comes up like with every time.
Yeah, you know what they're really into in this movie too? That real slow dissolve.
They do it constantly. Yep.
Yeah.
I get it because it's like a passage of time, a dissolve, I think, but it's really
he
constant.
Slows it down to the nth, man. Like you're looking at both scenes for like 30 seconds before the dissolve finishes.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. All right. So the first header we get is the interview. All right, and that's like the beginning of the movie. Jack's going up to the overlooked interview.
Well, first off, the helicopter shot.
Amazing. Oh yeah, there's that too, and the music over that's incredible. Somebody, can I just bring up Room 237 one more time?
Yeah.
Somebody in that documentary was like, Stanley Kubrick included an image of himself in the clouds of that shot for just one frame. If you slow down the movie frame by frame. So in the documentary, they slowed down the movie frame by frame, and they got to the part and they're like, that's it. And it was like, I don't see it at all.
Yeah, we saw Van Helsing, and Kate Beckinsale is clearly in the clouds there. If you don't see this, then they're probably wrong.
Yeah,
that's so funny. Crazy. I love that. Like when Joe Rogan is like, I saw this thing the other day, pull it up, and like what they pull up is wrong, and he's like, oh man, no, and he like proves himself wrong while trying to prove a point.
How much Joe Rogan are you listening to?
I just see funny clips on Twitter. They're like, look at this, Joe Rogan prove himself wrong live. I always watch that. That's hilarious.
Oh, what a moron.
Yeah.
I mean, it really sometimes I think about how many listeners he has and how many listeners I have.
Oh my god.
And I get depressed.
He got like a 20 million, or like not even 20, I think it was like $200 million Spotify deal a few years ago.
And he let it lapse.
But we will sign a $10,000 Spotify deal today.
I'll sign an $800 Spotify deal. I mean, we're on there already, but if you want to put us like up on the platform,
yeah. But when you sign the deal, it's only there. Like you can only find them on Spotify.
I get it.
Spotify only.
I'd be willing to do that for free massage
with a happy ending.
No, God, you always assume I want my dick jerked off.
Well, you are a creep a little bit. So I just
sometimes I just want my back rubbed, man.
Oh, just one massage, and that's enough to get us only on Spotify. That's enough to
get us on Spotify. Yeah,
I don't agree to that.
You don't agree to that?
No.
How about if we both get one?
No, definitely not. That's crazy. And everyone else that listens everywhere else can't listen. Just so you can get a massage. Yeah, like everyone who listens on iTunes, like what I do, they can't listen. They have to go to Spotify.
That's a good point. I guess I never really thought about that. That is annoying for people.
Yeah, it is.
Because I use Spotify for podcasts, so for me, it just feels like a normal thing. But I listen to podcasts on iTunes for like 10 years, so like it's definitely a thing people do.
What made you change? That's crazy to change.
iTunes worked really well on my iPad when I was still using an iPad a lot, but it's sort of annoyingly formatted on my iPhone, which you wouldn't think it would be because
Like
it's
Apple
iTunes.
Podcasts?
Yeah, I just don't like the app that much. For me, it's
Oh, I love it.
simpler on Spotify.
Oh, I'm a pro at the podcast app. I'm so good at it.
No, that's what I used on my iPad, and the formatting was great. But I don't love it now.
That's
Anyway,
weird.
sorry.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
another
interview.
thing,
Oh, sorry.
another thing we see before the interview even is that Shelley Duvall sitting at the kitchen table reading The Catcher in the Rye.
You got to stop saying Shelley Duvall. It's really bothering me.
What is it, Duvall?
That's what I would say. Shelley Duvall.
What? Why does that bother you though?
Shelley Duvall. I feel like you're really trying to say it like that.
I'm not. That's just
And it's
how I
like
say it.
Shelley Duvall. I don't know. It sounds terrible.
I'll try
Or
to
you say
really
Robert
think about
Duvall?
it now. Yeah, I think I do.
No relation there, right?
I don't think so.
They look nothing alike. I don't think so.
They kind of look something. They both have long faces. Why the long face, Duval family?
Why the long face? Yeah. I don't know.
Let me look up. I'm curious now.
I would guess no way.
All right, but I'm gonna Google. I'm gonna
We would have heard about
kill
that.
Shelley Duvall. Vol.
They're good actors, the Duvalls.
They are. Yeah, that's a good name to be uh associated with. But yeah, no relation.
Yeah, didn't think so. So the
Okay.
interview, there's this window. You ever notice this? I've always heard this talked about. The window that's in the interview that's like not really supposed to be there when you think about.
Yeah, that's a thing people talk about that I like actually.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, the layout of the interior of the hotel doesn't match the exterior, and knowing Kubrick, that's intentional.
Yeah, I think so. And then, did you notice in Doctor Sleep they do the same thing? They're in that
Yeah,
place doing an interview. That was so cool to me. I
yeah.
love that.
Doctor Sleep, 80% of it
I
is
know,
remember the Shining.
but it's not really till
Shining
the
was cool.
end. The end is all The Shining, but the rest of it's not really.
It is, dude. We
It's
see
not really. The
the kid.
beginning, the opening shot is like the
We see
beginning.
like the twins pretty early on.
I don't think so. I feel like I saw them late, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about the twins.
But no, we see like we'll get to Doctor Sleep, but they like there's a section of the movie where like it's a different actress playing the Shelley Duvall role and a different actor playing the Scatman Crothers role and a different actor playing the kid, and the kid runs into the little bath creature from the Overlook in like his own bathroom.
Yeah, that's like the very first scene, and then he's grown up like immediately after that.
It's a
And there's
long
Ewan
movie.
McGregor like leaving the daughter with or that woman with her baby.
The
And then we go back to
daughter,
The Shining at
what?
the end. I feel like we book in The Shining. The woman with her baby that he leaves, and then they die. Apparently,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
he leaves. He's like hooks up with a girl at the or woman at the beginning, and he leaves her, and she has a baby, and they die. Like later on, they're like demons, and they're like, "You left, and we died because
What the
the
fuck?
the screams because the mom was dead and the baby died too because no one was looking after the baby."
I gotta tell you, I watched this movie this like 2 days ago, and I even watched parts of it twice because my girlfriend fell asleep on it and then wanted to finish it. And I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's like a weird demon thing.
All right, anyway. So Shelley Duvall is reading The Catcher in the Rye at the kitchen table, which I thought was an interesting choice. A, because that's a book people read too much into, just like The Shining.
Yeah.
And also because they explicitly state later, like 5 minutes later in the movie, that she's really into horror novels.
That's not a
And
horror
I'm like,
novel.
yeah, why was she reading fucking Catcher in the Rye then?
She should have been reading The Shining.
Yeah, I
That'd been
guess some people
crazy.
have to. That would have been wild. Or they could have had her like reading like Carrie.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that one had her other three women cohort in it.
That's true. Sissy.
Yeah, how about that?
That's cool.
What's better, The Shining or Carrie? The Shining, right? But Carrie's great.
Uh, See, I don't know. This viewing, you could argue Carrie, because like if The Shining is like he goes down a descent, you could argue that he immediately is going to kill his family. And if you want to argue that, I can't fight that. I really can't because I saw it. So
I don't care.
I know that's a thing that a lot of people don't care about. But this is a movie about a descent into madness, and if immediately you think he's going to murder his family, it doesn't work for you.
It's a movie that's a descent into madness through all of the evil that's been accrued by the Overlook Hotel. And so it stands to reason that he'd go mad pretty fast, especially considering right after the closing day header, where like we get all those tracking shots like leading you around the Overlook Hotel and introducing them to the Overlook Hotel. The next thing we see is 1 month later.
Right.
So the descent happens in that 1 month.
Why don't we see it?
He's just not interested in that.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm not really either.
I'm really not. Sometimes I argue something I don't actually believe, and that's what I'm doing here.
I know you're a big old devil's advocate.
I really am. It's kind of annoying. I like hate myself for it sometimes because I don't even believe it. I just do it for funsies. But yeah, The Shining's better than Carrie. Yeah,
Carrie's great though.
You could argue The Exorcist is better than The Shining. I love The Exorcist.
I would never argue that. I prefer Carrie to The Exorcist.
Maybe.
If I had to rank them, it would be Shining, Carrie, Exorcist.
Halloween's my favorite of all of them.
Me too.
Or Scream even. But that's fun.
Wow,
you can't really
Scream.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, it's funny because like Scream still feels so new to me, even though it's been out for like almost 30 years at this point.
Yeah, in 2 years.
Yeah, so it seems weird to like talk about in the same conversation as something like The Shining or The Exorcist. But like there were fewer years between The Shining and Scream than there are between Scream and now.
But think about it. That would have been like talking about The Shining in 2008. It was already clearly a masterpiece by then.
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
That's like talking about Scream now.
You're right, man.
That's so
Maybe
weird
we should
to
just talk about Scream like a fucking all-timer.
Well, we do. I mean, I think a lot of people do.
But I think people of a certain age do. But I'm not sure that like a dude in their 50s or 60s
right
would talk
we have
about
proof. Henry didn't get it. He didn't really
That's right. There you go.
Makes me sad I wasn't on those up. But we did commentary tracks. Check those out. By the way,
yeah, we did commentary tracks on every Scream movie, didn't we?
All 6. If you want to check those out, yeah. There's something in this that's kind of like Scream. I remember Scream where you were like, is his name Stephen Orth or
Steve Forrest?
Steve Forrest. And here in the interview, they say a guy named Charles Grady killed his family. And then later in the movie, we meet a guy named Delbert Grady, and we're like, oh yeah, you're the guy that killed your family. And he's like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
so what's up with that?
Noticed that too. And here's
Charles
another thing. Here's another thing. They explicitly say that the twins aren't twins. They're just sisters.
Yeah. They say 8 and
but
10.
Then when,
like 2 years apart.
Right, 8 and 10. But then when we see them, they're clearly identical twins.
Yeah, basically. That's always what I thought. Weird. Yeah. They're the exact same height, I'm pretty sure.
No, they're I looked it up. They're identical twins in real life.
Oh, but yeah, the line, he's like, he killed his daughters 8 and 10 or something like that.
It's a lot of shit that doesn't really match up in this movie. I
think
it's
what's going
just
on,
to like
Stanley?
add I think it's just to add to the kind of offbeat feeling of being in that hotel. But I mean, they're weird choices for sure.
Yeah, and I've seen this talked about, but I noticed it especially one time in this movie. Where Jack will constantly look into the camera, which is supposed to be like a crazy, like evil thing where he's like looking into your soul or something. I've always heard. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, he does. He does a lot of those long, far away stares.
Yeah, there's that one out the window. That's so
the
funny.
One out the window is amazing. It might be the best shot of Jack Nicholson in any movie.
I think that you're probably, or at the bar when his face changes from like depressed to then he's just smiling.
And he does that eyebrow thing.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, his eyebrows are untouched. Aside from Sandy Cohen.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, but that's a great eyebrow performance in that bar scene.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite scene, the bar. But
did you like when they brought the bartender back in the sequel and it was Henry Thomas because Mike Flanagan can't get enough of Henry Thomas?
Of course I did. I loved that. Henry Thomas played Jack too in all the scenes of Jack running around. That's Henry Thomas.
Wait, what? Then maybe I'm getting it
No, he
confused.
plays the bartender too. He's both of them. Because there's like the scene where Ewan McGregor's like, "You're the caretaker." He's like confusing him with Jack, but it is Jack.
Oh
It's like weird. I think they're
yeah.
messing with the audience a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Ewan thinks it's his dad at first, and then he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm just the bartender."
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
Why are you hating
Uh,
on Henry Thomas? Mike
listen,
Flanagan uses all the same cast and everything. I don't really have a problem with it.
I sometimes don't understand his fixations on certain people. Like, I love directors that use the same cast and a lot of shit and stuff. You know, when it's like Paul Thomas Anderson using like Julianne Moore and a bunch of shit or something. But like, really, the kid from E.T. That's your guy.
Yeah, I actually
That's
liked it because
like
E.T. was around the same time as The Shining. It made me real nostalgic.
Scorsese had De Niro. Mike Flanagan has the kid from E.T.
But he's got a bunch of them. There's the girl at the beginning of Doctor Sleep. Her name is Violet McGraw. She's like a little girl actor. She was been in The Haunting of Hill House and a bunch of
The
his other
little
shows.
black girl, the little black girl who played Abra, it was in the Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh shit, I haven't seen that, so I didn't know
Yeah,
that. But
so
I thought she was
he
pretty good.
does love that shit, and he of course married that lady from Haunting of Hill House, and he uses her in everything now.
I think that they were married before The Haunting of Hill House, and then he put her in that,
I
and then
think
puts her in
that's right.
everything.
I think that's
Because
right.
she's in Hush, this movie Hush. Remember?
Oh
She's the
yeah,
lead of that movie.
not very good. I gotta
I
say,
like her.
I think she's a good actor. She's not like a bad, director's wife actor.
No,
but
no.
I just Flanagan is so hit or miss for me, man. Some of his shit I think is amazing, like Midnight Mass and Fall of the
Haunting of
House
Hill
of
House.
Usher, and I'm a little more mixed on Haunting of Hill House, but Gerald's Game I think is great. But then like every so often he'll put out something I think is fucking awful.
Midnight Mass.
No, I said Midnight Mass is great.
He has the other Midnight Club. Midnight
The
Club.
Midnight Club was real bad, and I thought I mean Doctor Sleep's not so hot for me, and there's been a few things like over the years where I'm like, that was Mike Flanagan. Like, where does
We got to
this
do
dude come
Ouija.
from? I think he's got to write like real. I was gonna say personal things, but then Fall of the House of Usher is just a Poe thing, and that's great.
Yeah. Did you like Bly Manor? I liked Bly Manor.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you got to watch Bly Manor.
Do I?
I really liked it.
All right.
Yeah. It's not really at all like Hill House.
Didn't he do a Ouija movie? Is that
Yeah,
good?
Ouija 2 Origin of Evil. Or just Ouija
We gotta
Origin of
cover it.
Evil.
I didn't know that was a sequel.
Yep. And I heard that one's
What
good.
was the original called? Just Ouija?
Ouija. And I heard that one's terrible, but the second one's actually good. And he did Oculus. You ever see that one?
No.
Me
I
either.
think that's on my watch list.
Same.
But anyway, yeah, he's clearly an insanely talented writer and director. Like he does some really beautiful things on screen sometimes, but I just find him oddly inconsistent.
It's fair. I haven't seen. I feel like I've only seen his good stuff, honestly.
And you haven't seen all of them. Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh yeah, right.
I think that might be the best thing he ever did.
I think I watched the first episode once.
Really? And
Yeah.
you didn't latch on?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really. I'll go back.
Back to Kubrick's movie, man.
Oh yeah.
All right. So they say Tony showed up when he's been sober for 5 months. Or no. It was when he dislocated his shoulder. That's when Tony showed up. And now he's been sober 5 months. And I guess the kid's also been talking to Tony for 5 months. It's sort of interesting. It's almost like an act of violence opened up the shining in him.
Right. When I was a little kid, I didn't really understand that Tony was The Shining. I always thought Tony was like a separate thing.
Me too. And he is kind of a miniseries, isn't he? He's like a dude.
He's like a little boy, yeah, or like a teenager. Yeah.
But I always like that. Like I remember as a kid, him describing Tony to the nurse or whatever. He gets like a house call from a nurse at one point. Maybe a doctor. She's a woman.
Who
I
knows?
immediately went nurse, but you know, women can be doctors.
Of course. I thought she was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
really good. I never took notice of her, but I thought she was good.
I think she's really good in that one scene too. I wouldn't mind seeing more of her.
Definitely
But
not LVP.
no, for sure not. But she asks him to like describe Tony, and he says Tony lives in his mouth. And I always thought that was so creepy. And then she goes, "If you open up your mouth, will I see Tony?" And he goes, "No." What happens to him? He hides in my stomach.
Yeah, goes down to his
There's
stomach.
something about that that's super creepy to me. Like, still,
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't like Tony.
I mean, I do, but I don't. Closing day is the next header. That's
You got all the
tracking
headers?
shots. Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy. Closing
yeah.
day. They're all gone now.
You know, it closes down over time. Like at first we do shit like 1 month later, and then it starts being the days, and then the last couple are just like the time.
Really? I don't think I really
Yeah,
noticed that. That's
it's
amazing.
interesting. Like it gets tighter and tighter over time, almost as the suspense rises.
Yeah, I know that that's how it happens with the film, but I didn't really know that. But that's I love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah, I like that too. I don't think I ever noticed it until I was taking notes for this.
Yeah, I didn't.
All right. So Scatman Crothers, we get that great scene between him and he and
Danny.
what
He's
Danny.
your name.
Him and Danny. I was right in the first place. No, I was just fucking up my grammar, man.
Oh.
But anyway, Danny eats chocolate ice cream. It's his favorite flavor.
Do they both eat chocolate? That's my favorite flavor too. I sound basic, but it is.
You are basic.
I know.
But I mean, I'm pretty basic too. Mine is mint chip.
That's not that basic. That's kind of crazy.
Tim always tells me that's basic.
Yeah, you're right. He does, but I think he says like because you wouldn't get like sprinkles and stuff because you would only
I do get
mint chip.
sprinkles. You know,
Oh.
when I get a cone, I'll get a vanilla cone with chocolate sprinkles.
You know, I like that. I think that sounds like a
Thank
nice
you.
ice cream order.
It is. It's a beautiful ice cream.
I would just get honestly chocolate ice cream in a bowl.
that
How was
that's as
that?
base. You sound like a fucking 6-year-old.
I wouldn't even get the cone. I would just get it in a bowl. No sprinkles, nothing.
Oh my god! All right, so
You wouldn't get
then
Sour Patch Kids or something on the top if they have that.
oh, I'll do that in like if I'm in a Cold Stone or something.
Yeah, like gummy worms.
Yeah, but I do that, but I don't go to that kind of thing that often.
Right. Yeah. You gotta have a lot of money to do that often. That's pretty expensive.
I did it some in college because my friend Eugene was working for a Cold Stone, and
Don't get him in trouble. Don't get him in trouble. No.
We haven't talked in 20 years. I think it's fine. But he fucking he 20 years, not quite, but he worked at a Cold Stone. He was managing a Cold Stone, okay, and he loved it. I've never seen someone love a job as much as he loved working at Cold Stone.
What about LeBron? He loves basketball.
Yeah, he takes days off though. Like Eugene would be like, I can't
True.
take a day off. I just
True.
wrote he used to write original songs. Like, you know how when you go into Cold Stone, they like sing at you?
No, I don't think I've ever really been.
That is 100% a thing. They have these little Cold Stone songs they like to sing. And
Cold
Eugene
Stone.
was,
Cold Stone. Welcome to our Cold Stone. Like that.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
You know, have some ice cream, enjoy your day, shit like that. And
Ooh.
I made that up, but I mean it's clearly a hit. But Eugene was so into his job at Cold Stone, he would write those songs. He would introduce original songs to his Cold Stone employees.
He sounds awesome, Eugene.
Eugene was pretty awesome.
Is he okay today? Is he alive?
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's married and he's like he's an entertainment lawyer, I think. I think he's like Chris Rock's lawyer.
Whoa, he helped him
Yeah.
during the Will Smith stuff. That's actually crazy. You know the guy who
Probably.
helped during the Will Smith trial?
I guess so.
They
Yeah.
didn't have
yeah.
a trial, I don't think.
I don't think there was a trial. But anyway, yeah, he's doing fine. But back then, he used to love these little jobs. He was a genius at the Apple store for a long time, and he fucking loved that too. He
Wow.
got me my first ever iPod for Christmas.
Holy shit! Like an iPod Nano or something. One of those.
No, it was like a legit iPod, like a big brick.
Oh wow. Eugene. He just sounds like he loves life, Eugene.
Yeah, he kind of does. I hope he still feels that way, like as a lawyer.
Yeah.
I
And as an
worry about
adult, hope he
that.
didn't
Yeah,
lose it.
yeah,
Like a
yeah.
real old guy.
I know.
Not that you're old.
There's also some other weird stuff that I won't talk about on the podcast.
We're not getting into
because
too much of Eugene. We can move on. That's probably enough on Eugene.
Okay. All right. So the 1 month later segment's got that big stare. Oh no, that's later actually. It's got the Danny Power Wheels. It's got the introduction of the hedge maze, and it's got Jack throwing the
Oh
ball.
man. Oh, and we haven't even talked about it. The maze is amazing, but
Yeah.
the carpet is iconic.
The carpet is super iconic. I
It's
have
in Toy
a.
Story. They rip it off. They use it in Toy Story. In
Is that
Sid's
true?
house.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we
It's
talked
Sid's
about
house.
it. We had to have
So
used- we had to
funny.
talk about it.
You know, my keychain it's an Overlook Hotel keychain. Like it looks like a
No.
hotel key, and on the back of it, it's got the carpet pattern on it.
Wow. I saw the shot of Danny when he's sitting down there on the floor playing with his toys, and it's the shot of the carpet, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make that by computer wallpaper as soon as this is over.
Did you?
No, as soon as we record, I'm going to.
Okay, keep me posted.
Okay.
The hedge maze is cool. I as a kid, I gotta say, I was always attracted to shit like that. Like a maze always seemed like really
I've never been in one. Have you?
interesting to me. Yeah, I've been in a hedge maze.
How long
and
did it take?
It's not nearly as big as this one, the one I was in, but there's even a hedge maze at one point in the Grand Theft Auto.
Really?
Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, you can go to hedge maze in that game.
What?
And I used to do it all the time.
Where is this? In the city or the country?
It's right outside the city. If you climb up that hill, there's that like big, like it looks like a museum or something on top of a hill.
No, I don't really know that.
Yeah, man.
Like up where the nice
I think-
houses are?
Yeah, I think it's past that. It's supposed to be like the Griffith Observatory. And
I'll probably find it on the map. I'm sure I can look it up.
behind that, there's a hedge maze.
That's amazing. Amazing. I keep
Yeah.
using that word amazing.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, it's.
I
just so
also
cool.
use that word a lot when I talk about corn.
Oh yeah, you love it. You do love that. I had a question though, and I never really thought about until this viewing, and I've never heard anyone say this ever. So I think this is an original thing. He's in the maze at the end with his axe. Why does he not use that to chop down the shrubs to get out of the maze?
That's a pretty good point.
He just like accepts death, like, seemingly. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. In the book, he does accept death, doesn't he? Like he lets himself die.
I never
So-
read it. I don't know.
Well, that's in the miniseries too,
Well,
right?
in the book, no, he dies. And the hotel burns down.
Right, but he
There
sacrifices.
is no maze, is there?
But no. He sacrifices himself by blowing up the hotel with himself inside of it to save Danny. And that might be what he's going for here. Like there's a little bit of conscience still in there, but
I don't think he really sacrifices. I think you're thinking more of Doctor Sleep, where he sacrifices himself. I think they just kill him in The Shining. Like he's still in there when they're blowing it up, right? Is it a
you're
sacrifice?
wrong, dude. He blows it up
It is a sacrifice. That seems interesting. Why he does that?
because Danny communicates with him telepathically, and Kubrick hated that shit, so it's not included. But that might be a little something.
I like that part in Doctor Sleep where she's dying and she tells Cliff Curtis, "Kill yourself," and he commits
Oh
suicide.
my god, that is the most brutal part of that whole movie, and a kid gets murdered on screen.
That's
But
more brutal.
I disagree. For me, because Cliff Curtis might be my MVP of that movie,
Yeah,
and him killing himself was heartbreaking to me.
it was very sad. I agree with that. Not my
Yeah,
MVP.
I had to watch that twice.
Because your girlfriend fell asleep.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
All right, then we go down from 1 month. Next thing is Tuesday.
Love it.
Tuesday.
This
and
Tuesday.
it's-
And by the way, if you go back and watch the Undertaker promo, he says Tuesday. Do you know this?
I absolutely noticed it because they re-show that promo at the beginning of this
Yep.
Tuesday in Texas, and I was like, God damn, he just says Tuesday.
We didn't mention that, but he says, "Oh, see you this Tuesday."
Yeah, check out Sunday Night Wars tomorrow on patreon.com/the franchise. Though it might not be behind a paywall for long, you can just check it out for free. But it's we're doing this Tuesday. It's Tuesday in Texas and Starcade 1991. Check that out.
Is this the last one of 91, and then we're in 92?
This is the final week of 1991.
Wow, get in now,
Enter
guys.
92.
We're about to move on to 92.
Yeah, getting now while the getting's good. I don't know what that meant. All right. Jack is a dick in this segment, of course. You know, that's the part he yells at Shelley Duvall. And Danny has his room 237 shit in this segment as well.
Oh, that is scary.
Yeah. Then we go to Friday. That's the big long stare. Then we go to Saturday. That's when we get the twins.
By the way, it's very obvious that Jack does not hurt Danny because those bruises don't appear until after he goes in the room. I did notice that because there's a scene where he sits with Jack when he goes up to the room when Dad's sleeping, and he's like, I have to get something, and they sit on the bed together and talk. And then after that, he goes to room 237, no bruises, and then he leaves, and then the bruises appear. So Jack really didn't do that. I want to say, if anyone's ever been like, has he done it?
I never questioned that once.
I don't know if that's ever been debated or not, but it's very clear he didn't do that.
The thing is, like, it's that big scary lady. Well, at first she starts off as a sexy lady. We get to see some boobs, but she then turns into this like hideous monster. And then when Jack goes back in there, like, we don't even see that at first. We just know he got bruised in that room. Jack goes in there, sees that lady who's clearly the thing that bruised him, and then just doesn't tell anybody about it.
Well, because he wanted to hook up with her, and then she turned into an old woman, and then he's probably embarrassed. That's why he probably didn't say anything.
Why? I think it would be fine to say there was a ghost in there.
But she started out hot, so I kissed her, and then she turned. He probably would just leave that part out, right?
Yeah. You just leave that part out.
I like how she played a
Are you kidding me? Jack Nicholson knows what to say when he commits infidelity.
Yeah, no, you're right. The ending of Dr. Sleep when she like goes in the room with the old woman, that was pretty spooky, right?
No,
I thought it was. The old woman scares me so much.
I just be your own thing, man. I don't need callbacks.
We talk about a movie franchise podcast. That's what we do.
I know, but like, it's possible. Like, look, Dr. Sleep was written by Stephen King as a novel, and then the movie is really just an adaptation of that novel with a couple of details changed to match the movie because it needs to be a sequel to the movie because it's a movie. But I feel like he could have just followed the Stephen King story. Like, Mike Flanagan has none of the same embarrassment about it that Kubrick had. Like, he just goes full Dark Tower in this motherfucker.
It's tough. He's trying to do an adaptation of a book while also making a sequel to The Shining that people like.
But you didn't have to. You don't have to change that much. Like, in the book, Scatman Crothers lives, so he's dead in this one. Like, he changed a few things like that from the book to match the movie, but I don't think you have to do much. He seems perfectly content telling this dumb story of psychic vampires sucking steam out of people.
I like sucking the shine out of the little kids. It's cool. It's a good take on The Shining, I think.
Why is it steam?
What do you want it to be? I thought it was very like Harry Potter, right? Like the mentor.
It is, and I never really thought that The Shining was very Harry Potter. So
that's good. I that's fair.
Yeah. All right. The next thing, Monday. That's where Jack gets sort of creepy with Danny.
Yeah. And I want to say though, I think that woman in the bathtub is probably the first boobs I ever saw. Probably.
Wow. Amazing stuff.
It's probably true.
I don't remember the first boobs I ever saw.
Or maybe
it feels like something
Titanic.
I should remember.
Might be Titanic.
No, see, Titanic, those were the second boobs I ever saw in a theatrical release because I saw The Devil's Advocate like a month before that.
Right. The scarred up boobs, right?
Well, there's some scarred up boobs, but there are also some gorgeous boobs. So I mean, worth watching either way.
Yeah.
Uh, so this is where Jack sees the boobs this Wednesday. A lot happens on the Wednesday. Jack meets Lloyd, the bartender, on Wednesday. It's a big day for him.
Yeah.
And Scatman Crothers watches the news, and we see those boobs in his little paintings. And Jack sees some boobs as well. So both Scatman and Jack are having a great day. And then Scatman, he starts making his way, but this is also where Jack meets all those ballroom ghosts, including Delbert Grady in the bathroom.
Awesome red bathroom.
It's a great bathroom, isn't it? The set design in The Shining, because most of it was built on sets, the interiors, and it is great.
Yeah,
like they look amazing.
Steven, that's such a lame complaint from Stephen King. Like, it's not my hotel. This is an amazing hotel.
Yeah, it's way cooler. Like, you don't have to Stephen King wanted to shoot in this old broken down hotel. Kubrick actually took a look at it, like in location scouting, and he was like, they don't have enough electricity to plug in all the camera equipment and shit, and there's not enough snow. Those were his complaints. Like, I want it to be snowy.
Yeah.
And so, like, he didn't use it. It's not a big deal. Stephen King, I don't know. He must have some real connection to the book, The Shining, because I feel like he's never complained about any other movie ever made about his shit. And there have been so many terrible Stephen King adaptations.
I think this is just the one that he felt was least accurate to it. And I think it was one of the most personal books. I think like this and Misery are his two most personal.
Maybe
Pet Cemetery. I think that one's pretty personal.
Really? Pet Cemetery?
I think it's like about I don't know. It's about like his fear of losing his child or something.
I think I have read that actually. We might have talked about that when we covered Pet Cemetery. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be something like that, and I just think I think maybe Stanley Kubrick might be the dude who like showed him the least respect, just because he's
the most
Stanley
individual
Kubrick.
thinker of all the derp. I mean, he's the most individual thinker ever, probably. So it's tough. I don't know. I understand from Steven some of the complaints.
I don't know, man. If I wrote a novel, like some dumb novel about like psychic people,
It is dumb.
and then yeah, and then Stanley Kubrick made it into a movie, like any movie, I'd be like, wow, Stanley Kubrick wanted to make a movie out of my book. I'd be so into that.
Yeah, but honestly, watching the TV movie, I don't think there's like you buy the descent into madness that much more, because I think the scene in The Shining where she comes in and she's like, "Hi, hun, got a lot written today? Anything you want me to read?" I think that does more for that character, like for him going crazy. Not that you'd go crazy if someone did that to you, but more than anything that happens in the TV version. There's not really anything in there where I buy it.
It's also like Kubrick really wants his dude to be an everyman. That's why he's suggesting people like Martin Sheen and John Voight at first. And I don't think he's that. Like he's 5 months sober. That's a really fresh time in your life. Like you're experiencing everything a lot more, and it's sort of terrifying. And he's also like done some violent shit to his son pretty recently. His relationship with his wife is strained. Like this dude is not an everyman. Like he's certainly not crazy yet, but
he writes
going
novels
through a lot,
which is a very secluded process. You probably don't have that many friends and stuff. You're probably just a very inward type of person. I agree with you.
And he's been experiencing writer's block since he's gotten sober, which is scary. Like that's going to make you want to drink more than anything else, because you feel like that's the source of your talent. I used to feel that way.
That's a good point. But I do think Steven Weber is kind of a good balance. He's not like the nicest guy ever. You think he would never do this stuff he'd done in his past, but I could see him doing that, but now being a good guy who not going back.
It's good casting. I always felt that Steven Weber has a little bit of smarm to him. So he's not like perfect. He's not this like super likable guy. He does seem like someone who could lose it.
In 13 Reasons Why, he's like a good principal, but he like turns his head at like the rapist in the school, you know? So he's like playing that type of role where he's like supposed to be the nice guy, but he's like a smarmy guy. He's like an evil guy.
Oh, is it an episode of the franchise with a 13 Reasons Why
We're
reference?
talking
How
about Steven
novel.
Weber. He was in the show. But well, I feel like we need to hurry up through The Shining, right? We're like an
We're
hour and a half
almost
into
at
this.
the end, man. Are
Yeah,
we? God damn, yeah, we've been talking for a while.
a little bit.
So the final two headers are 8 a.m. This is when the timing starts. That's where like Scatman like starts, like gets on a plane and shit.
Yeah.
And that's also where we get Shelley Duvall discovering all work and no play.
Man, that's good stuff.
Makes Jack a dull boy. That's all great stuff. And then at 4 p.m., that's the final header. You get Red Rum. You get Jack with the axe. Here's Johnny. Jack kills Scatman Crothers, which is not in the book. And well, Scatman shows up in the book, but I think like Jack knocks him out with a croquet mallet.
Yes, it's a mallet in the TV movie he's running around with, and he's got an axe in the film.
Yeah, guess what, Stephen King? Axes are scarier.
I agree.
I thought you're like the master of horror.
But a
Nothing scarier than a croquet mallet.
No, I kind of get it. It's like it's not. It's like unconventional, but it's pretty scary.
You know what the last movie we saw croquet mallet in was?
No.
Addams Family Reunion.
Oh, duh. I actually thought of that. I was like, where do we see? I thought of that in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we get to the end. Let's talk about him freezing and whatever.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that ending?
Well, I thought obviously he should have cut himself out without axe. Why are you letting yourself freeze? That's crazy.
Here's the thing about that. There's a scene that's cut out of the movie that apparently was cut so late that they asked projectionists to do it after they already sent out the prints. Okay.
Yeah.
And that scene has Shelley Duvall and Danny in the hospital. So it like assures you that they're alive. And
you already know that.
I know, but the hotel manager shows up. He gives them the ball that Jack was throwing around in there. And he also tells them that the body was never found. That's the most interesting part to me.
Because never checked the maze.
We see the body. He's a frozen man. But what I think that's implying is like, because right after that scene in the original cut of the movie, you get the close up of that picture with Jack in it from 1921.
Mm-hmm.
I think what it implies is like Jack's body was like absorbed into the past of the hotel,
or just absorbed into the hotel. The hotel sort of absorbed his body.
Right.
It's kind of a cool ending, and I mean it's a dumb ending, like bringing the ball in and they're in the hospital.
But, you don't need all that shit. But to me, that's an interesting detail that his body was never found.
It is. It's a cool, ominous ending. But what's also a cool, ominous ending is showing the picture and showing 1921. You can probably
no. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't add that scene back in or anything. But reading that, I'd never read that before. I did the research for the podcast. I found that compelling.
That is compelling. I like that. I want to bring up. I don't know if it's a continuity error or if I miss something, but Danny, the other part in the bathroom, he's swinging the axe. Danny goes out the window. Remember, slides down the snowbank.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that too. And then, but the next time we see Danny, he's running through the hotel and he hides in the little cabinet under the little thing.
Yeah, because Shelley Duvall says run and hide. She says I can't get out of the window. I don't fit. Okay. By the way, I think she could have fit if she really forced herself. But she tells him run and hide, and I think Danny interprets that he runs back into the hotel and hides, like he's seen a hiding spot that he remembers.
Okay, you're probably right. I thought he was supposed to get out and go start the snow machine so they could drive off.
No, she specifically says run and hide, and I always think in that moment when she says that, that's when he's going to go into the maze. But he does have that brief moment where he tries to hide under that cupboard.
Yeah, he does. Struck me as odd, but I mean, it's probably not. But all right, what else did you have?
I've said what I need to say about The Shining.
I like the part where we're watching TV and it's the Roadrunner, and we hear like the Roadrunner theme song, and it's like it's saying like I forget what it is, but it's like run before he catches you. He's right behind you or something before he gets you.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I thought it was strange. By the way, Danny has a lot of great sweaters in this film. One of them has Mickey Mouse playing baseball. And he I was surprised they used a Disney character because it's a Warner Brothers movie and they have so many cartoon characters. But of course, once you see an animated movie in the film, it is the Roadrunner.
And we see one of the dwarves early on in their home. They have like one dwarf. I don't know what that's from.
It's Dopey.
That's Disney. That's Disney, isn't it?
That's Disney. It's Dopey. And someone in the 237 documentary points out that after the nurse leaves him, the Dopey sticker is missing from the wall. And it's probably just a continuity error, but the person in the film interpreted that as Danny, after that, is no longer Dopey.
What the fuck is that?
I know.
Jesus Christ. All right. It's so stupid. All right, I forgot what I was gonna say. The Roadrunner, I don't know, the Steadicam, that's pretty cool.
Steadicam had just been invented in 1976. It was still like a relatively new thing in film. Rocky was one of the first films to use it. But yeah, this was like really the first time like a major director was experimenting with Steadicam, and I mean it legitimizes it completely because it's an amazing use of Steadicam.
Yeah, I mean the big wheel, all of like Wendy walking down the halls every time she like has breakfast and stuff. Just it's crazy.
Even all the tracking shots when like they're taking a tour of the hotel during like closing day, like they go on forever.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah, how do you watch this and get mad when you're supposed to just watch this and be engrossed? I really wonder. Like, I want to talk to Stephen King. Talk about like what was the experience like watching it the first time? And say what? I have like a million questions. I don't know.
Ask him on the podcast.
All right, we'll have to put this episode out, and then I'll say, listen to this and tell me if you want to come on.
I don't know. I kind of talk shit, man.
About Stephen?
Well, I said a lot of the ideas of the books were stupid.
I'll edit it out.
Don't do it.
No. He's not gonna listen to this.
No, of course not. So what do you give The Shining?
One of my favorite directing choice, maybe the whole movie, when Jack is swinging the axe and the camera's going left, right, when the axe is swinging like back and then hitting the wall or the door. Fucking awesome.
Here's something else I read about the axe.
Yeah.
Listen to this fun fact. Jack, they originally built like a fake door for him to go through.
I've heard this.
Yeah, but Jack Nicholson was like a volunteer firefighter, so he kind of knew how to swing an axe, and so he got through it too fast, so they had to use a real door.
Oh, I've heard they went through, like in the shooting of the scene, they went through like 30 doors or something.
Right, but eventually, like they wanted to take a while, so they were like, "We can't do this shit with the fake doors. It's happening way too fast." Because Jack he knows how to swing an axe.
Yeah, I actually noticed watching it. I was like, he is really good swinging. He has great physicality swinging that axe. He looks scary. So
and he does it very confidently, doesn't he?
He does. It reminded me of like him with the axe. It's like the same physicality of Daniel Day-Lewis in Last of the Mohicans, the way he holds like his spears and bows and arrows and everything.
Fuck yeah.
It's like you really fucking believe it. Like this guy feels that thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, Daniel Day's a method actor, man. He probably worked on that shit forever. Jack Nicholson just happens to be a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah, it worked out for him.
Yeah.
That's the best. Those are the best actors, though. The weird ones that have these weird talents. That's like, don't even worry, I know how to do that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's always amazing. Like,
I'd be like me. You need me to hit a 3-pointer? I'll be able to do that, no problem.
This happens on TV a lot because they work with the actors for so long that they really get to know them, and so they start to incorporate things they know how to do into scripts.
Yeah, if you want a scene of me just like talking to somebody while I'm solving a Rubik's cube, I can do that. You want a scene like that? Or you just talk
Sure.
about anything.
Sounds like a good scene.
People will be
Everyone's
watching
smoking
like,
in this
whoa, is he
movie.
solving that? Is he actually solving that? And then it's done like 2 seconds later. They'll be like, what? Somebody smoking? You said?
Yeah, I feel like there's cigarettes like that. They use that as actors used to do that all the time. Like I need like a bit of business in the scene, so I'll bust out a cigarette.
Yeah, it's good. Or Brad Pitt will start eating or something.
Brad Pitt loves eating. That's all he
his
does.
favorite thing.
Yeah. That's his acting technique. If he can't wrap his head around the scene, he's just gonna eat for a while.
Yeah, give me
You know what I just read?
sunflower seeds. What's that?
You know, there's a movie coming out later this year. It looks interesting with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Ocean's Reunion.
No,
and
I
yeah,
thought you said that was the name of it.
no. And it's written and directed by John Watts, the dude who made the Marvel Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland.
Your favorite films ever?
I like those films. I like the first two anyway, and the third one's all right. And
Yeah.
he also made a Clown and Cop Car. He's an interesting director. I'm excited for him to get his ass out of the Marvel universe finally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You didn't say what it was about. It's just those two in it. You don't know what it's about?
I don't
You
care.
saw a trailer, I thought.
No. I just read about it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, all right, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Is this a 5?
Sure. Why not? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What's the argument for it being a 4? There isn't.
Well, your argument might be that he goes insane too fast or something.
It's not. I just want to say I do acknowledge it. Like I've always thought like that's a dumb argument. And then watching it this time, I was like, oh, he's gonna kill his family.
Oh, I never thought it was a dumb argument. I always felt that that's a completely justified criticism of this movie. It just never bothered me at all.
I haven't seen this in a long time, by the way. It's been probably 7, 8 years.
Yeah, it was a while for me too. I watched it. Yeah, I watched it when I was with Katie when I was still living with her. So, like, it was at least 8 years ago.
Yeah, I don't have a review on Letterboxd, so I haven't seen it in the Letterboxd era, which is I think 2018. So for the last 6 years.
I started in 2017, and I didn't have a review of it either.
Yeah, so it was really fun to go back and watch it, and it holds up. If you haven't seen it, if you just listen to this, check it out, watch it again, or watch it for the first time. What if nobody's seen this yet? You think there's anyone?
Yeah, if you haven't seen The Shining, like, stop wasting your time.
I don't think there's
podcast.
a single person. I really don't. I don't think there's one person who's listening who's never seen it yet.
It might be. I know, like P. Dot, he sometimes misses out on like really major movies.
He saw The Shining. He had to have. No,
yeah,
he's seen it. He gave it 3 though. He doesn't like it.
Wow.
Yeah,
amazing stuff. Not as high as Half Baked. All right. Shout out to P. Dot. All right, we got
MVP.
What's the MVP? Yeah.
Can we go, Stanley?
If you want,
because I do think the direction makes the movie. It is the movie.
I was gonna go with Scatman, and the more we talked about it, I'm just like, fuck it. It's Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Yeah. That's fine. I'd rather go Stanley. By the way, isn't it the real hotel called the Stanley Hotel? When I heard
That's
that
correct.
for the first time, I was like, oh, that's even scarier. Like, what are the odds of that? That's cool. We should go there. We should record an episode. We should have recorded this from the Stanley Hotel. Damn it, we're stupid. Why are we so dumb?
Oh, sorry, I was responding to a Hank text.
Oh wow.
He said he just saw the text.
He said good film.
Text,
I like it.
I hope that's all he writes. That'll be hilarious. Who's the LVP of The Shining?
We didn't talk about it.
Any of the principal cast members? Who do you got?
I got one. I'm going with the skeletons that come up near the end of the movie. I don't think it matches the rest. It's what happens in Poltergeist, and I think it matches the tone of Poltergeist. But here, I don't really think it works.
That's sort of fair, dude. Honestly, that part always looked a little hokey to me, and there's nothing else that looks hokey.
Yep.
I'll tell you what. LVP, if I'm just talking actors, is tough in this movie because I always really liked the smaller performances. Like, I feel like the 2 forest rangers, like one that one Shelley Duvall talks to and one Scatman Crothers talks to, they are very natural.
I
They
agree.
might have
I
been
like
real
both of them.
forest rangers.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Tony Burton's here.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I think everybody's good. I like the young woman and the
We
old
said that
woman.
we said the doctor we liked.
Yeah,
I think the
that's why I
dude
went the
plays
skeletons.
dude who plays Lloyd and the dude who plays Grady are good.
Absolutely.
But here's who I'm going with. The hotel manager, played by Barry Nelson.
No way. The guy who interviews him?
Yes.
No, I can't do that. I think that guy's good.
I think he's a little weak sauce, and I think it's weird that he kind of looks like Stephen King.
Really? I thought he looked like a normal guy. Stephen King always scared me.
No, man. He looks a little like Stephen King. And I feel like in the back of my mind, I was like, I wonder if Stephen King hates that. He's like, they could have gotten me in there for a cameo, but they chose this guy who looks like me.
I don't really see that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stick with that guy.
Right.
I think of the characters with dialogue in the movie, he's the weakest performance.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was looking at the actors. I was like, no, 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 and then I realized I said no for everybody, and that's why I picked the skeletons. I couldn't go with an actor. They're all good.
Oh, Hank says, "Hang on," with with a dot dot dot. I think we're getting a text.
Oh my goodness.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited. Ryder Strong,
you got like a halfie right now.
I've had it the whole episode, but
nice.
Yeah. Ryder Strong gave it 5 stars.
Wow, amazing. He loves
stuff. It also.
Amazing. It doesn't have any Jews in it, so he was able to give it a 5. You know, he usually gives it a half star if there's a Jew.
We'll move on and then come back to Hank later.
Yeah, listen, guys, The Shining is a good movie.
Yeah, we're the first to ever say. I actually thought yesterday I was playing basketball, my favorite thing I love to do, and I had the thought. I was like, it's 2024, and we're about to talk about The Shining for the first time.
I know. It's almost not even worth it. But let's get into Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So Dr. Sleep. Oh, wait. Do you want to talk about the miniseries? I mean, you kind of did, but you want me to give a little background and shit?
Yeah, we can do that. Should we do it at the end so people that care about Dr. Sleep can do this, and then at the end we can talk about the show?
No, it's in between the two. So let's just give it like 5 minutes.
All right. It'll be in the description when Dr. Sleep is, if you want to do that.
1997 is when this came out, and they decided Stephen King pitched it to the networks, and the networks were looking for miniseries around this time, and if Stephen King wants to go ahead and make a Shining series, yeah, they'll fucking go for it. It's the whole thing's directed by Mick Garris. Are you familiar with Mick Garris?
I didn't look him up. Didn't sound familiar.
All right. He has directed so many Stephen King adaptations that there was a rumor for a long time. I remember when I was younger that he was Stephen King. Like Mick Garris didn't exist. It was Stephen King working under a pseudonym.
I love it.
All right. So he directed Sleepwalkers, I think, is based on a Stephen King thing. The Stand miniseries, which is based on Stephen King. Quicksilver Highway, this Shining series, Riding the Bullet, and Bag of Bones. Those are all Stephen King adaptations directed by Mick Garris.
All right, he's a legend.
Legend in the field of mediocre Stephen King adaptations.
That's
like right. None of those are really good. The Shining miniseries. I mean, not The Shining. The Stand miniseries, I think, is pretty cool, but it's The Stand is one of my favorite Stephen King books. I've read a bunch of them. I actually never read The Shining, but The Stand is really cool. Mick Garris, Stephen King writing. They had Rebecca De Mornay locked up since like 1994 when he first picked it. I guess like that was just, I gotta get Rebecca De Mornay in there.
That's weird.
I know. But they didn't find an actor for a long ass time, like to play Jack Torrance. Apparently they like auditioned tons of people. It came down to 4 days before filming. They still didn't have a Jack Torrance, and Stephen King was considering postponing the thing because he was like, if we don't have a Jack Torrance, there's no reason to do this.
That's incredible. And then he came in.
And you know who suggested him?
Who?
Rebecca De Mornay.
From what? How'd she know him?
I don't know. I guess she'd worked with Steven Weber before and something. And she was like, "How about him?" And Stephen King was like, "Great idea."
You guys have the same name. How isn't that cool? They spell it
Yeah,
differently though.
true, man. Weber uses the V.
That's right. He
King's
does.
got a PH going. So this aired on consecutive nights, I think, between April 27th, 1997 and May 1st, 1997.
Okay. Were you there?
I think I was. I think I did watch it at the time. Because
Have you
I don't
ever seen
remember
this
watching
the
it
whole
on.
time?
Yeah, no, I have. And I don't remember ever watching it on like DVD or anything. So it must have just been on TV.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it might not have been like the first airing. They might have reshown it on like the like Sci-Fi channel or some cable station.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. This won 2 Saturn Awards.
Whoa. Well, I didn't know they gave Saturn Awards to TV. Is
They
there a special
do.
category for that?
No, there's just all different categories for TV, man. Like I noticed Steven Weber, he won genre TV actor of the year. You know who else was nominated that year?
No idea.
Nicholas Brendon for the first season of Buffy.
Wow. First,
How about that?
He'll get it by season 5. That's when he really comes into his own.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I think Marsters might have won it one year.
Wow, that's incredible. Was season 5 the one with that's when he gets his apartment? That episode?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
this
that's
has been a
good.
great Xander season. It really has, I think.
I love it. He's really a construction guy now. He's good in the body too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
this also won Best Single Genre TV Presentation, which is a category for miniseries and TV movies.
All right, it won that.
It won that. It won both of the
Wow.
awards it was nominated for. Yeah. Then you got the Emmys. They nominated it for 3 awards and it won 2 of those.
Wow, this is a big hit.
Yeah, makeup and sound editing. Those are the awards it won. But it lost Best Miniseries to Prime Suspect 5. Okay. And that's Prime Suspect 5. You heard me right. They would always get Prime Suspect was a British detective drama with Helen Mirren. Okay. And it would get nominated almost every year for Best Miniseries. And if that sounds weird to you, you're right. You know what usually gets nominated every year at the Emmys? TV shows.
Yeah, so a little weird.
Prime Suspect was just a TV show. I think it just wasn't eligible for the TV show categories because I think they only did like 3 feature-length episodes a year. Like it wasn't eligible because it didn't have enough episodes. But it's just an ongoing series. It always annoyed me that would win miniseries awards.
Yeah, I think that would annoy me too.
I feel like the first few seasons of American Horror Story also got nominated for miniseries awards. And it's just like, that's a show.
They
It
didn't
comes
know
on
yet.
around the same time every year.
But for the first few, they didn't know, I guess.
But I mean, by the time it's like the 4th season and it's the 4th consecutive year they've done this, just accept that it's a TV show.
Yeah, that's the hack. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Anyway, that's really all I got for that.
All right.
Give it a grade.
The show?
Yeah.
3.
Okay, not bad. And who's your MVP?
I would go with Dad, I guess. Steven Weber.
Steven Weber. And who's the LVP?
Oh my goodness, I didn't really do that stuff. I don't know. I like the mom. I like the kid. I feel like there weren't really that many other people. Oh, there's Scatman's around.
Well,
I
who
think.
plays Scatman in that?
I guess I could find it, right?
I'm sort of curious.
His name's not Scatman, is it?
It's Halloran.
Melvin Van Peebles. I feel like he's
Oh,
probably
wow.
the LVP.
That's interesting.
Sometimes
He's
he
the
was-
MVP.
Sometimes
The
he was like a
LVP?
comedic character. He was kind of dumb sometimes.
Well, Melvin Van Peebles is an interesting dude. He was a director during the blaxploitation explosion. You know that film Badass with like a bunch of A's and a bunch of S's?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Now that movie is directed by Melvin Van Peebles' son, Mario Van Peebles, and it's based on the making of a film that Melvin Van Peebles directed. So he plays his dad in that movie.
Wow, that's like well, I guess it's not. I was gonna say in Scream when David Arquette's dad was like the sheriff's deputy. You remember? Or Scream 2, was it?
That was Scream 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Louis
absolutely.
Arquette.
Yep. But definitely not the LVP as Shawnee Smith. I want to say that she's definitely not the LVP of
What
this.
about Stephen King? What didn't he have a cameo? Where was it?
It's it. Yeah, it's like it's the third episode. They're having like a part. It's like when everything goes crazy in the hotel and the lounge is open, the ballroom, and he's just like a man that's dancing.
Oh
I, don't know if he-
yeah,
I
and you're
forgot if he
like,
had lines.
hey, look, that's Stephen King.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't have even really noticed. He was like young. I know him more old.
See, at the time, I would have thought that's both the Stephen King cameo and the Mick Garris cameo.
Yeah, 2 for 1 deal right there.
Yeah.
But I have a few notes here though, by the way. Jack apparently he's a teacher in this, and he beat up a student. A little
What?
backstory to this character. Yeah, he's a
Wait,
teacher who
i-
got
is there s-
fired because he beat up a
is
student.
is there still the thing about him pulling his son's arm out of his
Yeah,
socket? Or-
that's still the thing.
so it's both. So
Both.
if anything, Stephen King made him even fucking crazier at the start
Yeah,
of the movie.
he did. He did. So
What's
really
going
weird.
on? What's your complaint, buddy?
Yeah, I don't really know. There's a whole big scene where the wife is like, why not I need some caretaking too. That's what she says. Like it's like a line
Ooh,
she
I
says.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, I got too much going on. I can't do it. And there's like that's
Sure
like a
you don't
10-minute
want to
long scene.
caretake my pussy?
Yeah, I thought that should have been that should have been a line. But no. And he breaks open the door and he says, boo. I thought that was funny.
That sucks.
He doesn't say here's Johnny. He says boo.
Boo.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. And so
All
pretty
right.
fun stuff. No maze.
Let's-
No maze in this one. The shrubs come to life though. The shrubs are like
Oh God, that's so
little
lame.
animals. They're like
Stephen King is lame.
yeah, it was kind of lame. But there's one part where like because it's snowing the whole time and the shrubs come to life and then they like get back in their places and the wife comes outside and she's like, but the shrubs, why don't they have snow on them? And it's like, ooh, yeah, good job seeing into
Oh
that.
my God, so uninteresting.
Yeah. That's why I gave it a 3.
All right, let's move on to this becoming a real franchise. Okay. All right. Now, Dr. Sleep, the book came out. And so immediately Warner Brothers was like, we should probably make that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they started developing it in like 2016, I think. The book came out in 2013. And so the original writer that they hired to do it was Akiva Goldsman.
Yeah, I know him.
He's written Batman and Robin, and then he won an Oscar for writing A Beautiful Mind. Those are the two credits I like to bring up.
2 sides of the coin.
Two sides of the coin, yeah. So Akiva wrote this. They didn't like the draft really, but they put it into development. Akiva ended up getting an executive producer credit on the movie for writing that draft. I don't know why, but they gave him one. But the movie didn't end up becoming greenlit. They were worried about they didn't want the budget too high, and every director they talked to was like, I need a higher budget than what you're willing to offer. And what ended up happening is It came out.
Andy Muschietti's It.
Yeah. That was like a big hit, like mainstream success. Like kids went to see it. and
Huge.
shit.
I believe the thing was when it came out, it was the #1 R-rated movie ever, maybe. Or like #1 R-rated opening. It had some title for a second.
All right. Are you ready for me to sight read Henry's text?
Oh, I've been waiting the whole time.
Okay. This is Henry's thoughts on The Shining. He didn't even, I told him to include Dr. Sleep thoughts, but he said he only did it one time. He only saw it one time and he was sort of mixed on it.
Okay.
Here he says, I've always just thought of The Shining as ominous, a film filled with dread. It was the last of the Kubrick films that I saw well after I was a fan of Barry Lyndon 2001, Clockwork, Paths of Glory, Strangelove, and all the rest. It honestly scared the shit out of me. The tracking shots, the pace, the studied dialogue, the music of oh god, I don't know how to pronounce this. Dies Irae. He uses a lot of existing classical music, and if you remember Henry from his time on the show, he loved to talk about classical music.
Yes.
Yeah. So he loves the music in the beginning and the usage of the Bartok music for strings, percussion, and celesta in the later part.
So much.
I know, I love him so much. He's my favorite person. Oh my god. In the later portion of the film just terrified me. In a way, it's a bit like Eyes Wide Shut in its bending reality with a dreamlike atmosphere. That's true. It was never in the running for my favorite Kubrick film, but I love it nonetheless. The making of the film, shot by Kubrick's daughter, is also an incredible document. Man, I kind of want to watch that now.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and then he says, best I can do in 5 minutes. The guy's a brilliant.
Wow, he's already I've been doing this for 2 years. He's better than in 5 minutes.
Henry is so good. I mean, Logan, I love podcasting with you, but when you hear something like that, you miss Henry.
Listen, if Henry wants to come back, I will be producer for you and Henry. I will put up every episode. That's all I will do for you and Henry.
Oh,
all you guys have to do is show up and record, and I will do the rest.
I'm just texting.
He's thinking about it right there. Yeah, that was amazing. He said he saw this after everything else.
Yeah, interesting, right?
After Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. He doesn't say that. It might have been before that.
But he says all the rest, didn't he? He said like he knew a few and then said all the rest.
Henry was born in the late 70s, I think. And so, when it came out, he's probably still a little kid. So maybe he just like didn't get around to it till he was an adult or something.
Yeah. But I was a little kid when I saw this, and this was the first one I ever saw of his. So that's really cool.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I do feel like it now that it's like considered a classic horror film, it's a little bit more of a gateway for some of Kubrick's movies. Like, you don't want to show somebody like 2001 first. It's too fucking weird. Like The Shining really, his craft as a director is completely on display, and it's a much more watchable movie for the mainstream,
and it's the most it's in pop culture. There's like an episode of like every show probably that references the there's probably like a Simpsons episode probably.
There's a Treehouse of Horror that does The Shining, and I think it's from the 6th season. It might be the 5th Treehouse of Horror. Wow, how about that? I remember all this shit.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure everything. Here's Johnny is in Chucky,
Yeah, and of course, Steven Spielberg incorporated it into Ready Player One a year before Dr. Sleep came out.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which was originally supposed to be Blade Runner, and
oh really?
I guess Ridley didn't give him permission or whatever, so he switched it on the fly to The Shining. I don't hate that part of that movie.
Yeah,
it's kind of a bad movie, but my interest was probably
just dumb. I didn't really get anything out of that movie. I don't know. Just kind of watched it. It was like kind of fun, I guess.
Do you remember that movie? Like, the love interest is this like gorgeous girl, but she's got like a tiny scar on her face, so she's perceived as ugly.
It's not even, it's a birthmark. It's like she was born with a birthmark. It's not even like a scar. But yeah, it's just like an ugly birthmark, and it's like what's her name from
it's Olivia Cook.
She's the dying girl. Yeah.
Oh, that she's from Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, she's the dying girl.
Wow.
I think I told you to watch that once.
Who's Me?
It's this redhead guy. I don't know his name. I don't know. Earl is RJ Seiler.
Oh yeah, I've heard that name.
Thomas Mann plays Me.
Oh, I like Thomas Mann.
Yeah,
he's sort
good.
of effete.
He played a cop in one of the new Halloween movies. Remember that?
Yeah, I think I pointed him out because I like him from the show Revenge.
Oh, I first saw him as Me. And yeah, Earl is RJ Seiler. RJ Seiler.
Oh, Thomas Mann is Earl.
No, he's
Oh,
me.
you know what?
RJ Kyler is
He's
Earl.
me. Okay. I got to tell you, I just looked him up and he's not who I was thinking of.
Daniel.
I'm sorry.
Bro, you got to watch this movie. Listen to these 4 names I'm about to tell you, okay?
I'm ready.
Supporting cast characters. Me's mom, okay? Connie Britton. Me's dad.
Wow.
Nick
All right.
Offerman. All right?
All right.
This woman named Denise Molly Shannon and their teacher, John Bernthal. That's good, right?
That's real good.
Gotta check it out.
Good. Yeah, that's intrigued me more than anything I've ever heard about that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So
Oh, he
I
played
did.
Johnny Buss in Winning Time.
Who? Oh, Greg.
Thomas Mann. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good character. I mean, whatever. What are we doing? Okay, back to
Dr.
Dr.
Sleep.
Sleep. Yeah.
Thanks, Henry. Thank you, Henry. I know he's
Oh
not
my
listening to
God.
this.
I know, but I just responded like, you're great. You're amazing. Like, I love you so much.
Yeah, you're the best.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so-
we get an Adair, Iowa, not a Papali, Iowa. So who's really the best? If we
I knew you'd be so pumped about that the second
Yeah.
that showed up on screen.
It's
I was
pretty
like,
rare.
Logan's gonna pop hard for that shit.
Yeah, I don't see that a lot.
Yeah. All right. So we make this movie. Mike Flanagan gets offered it after It comes out and is a success. Flanagan's already done like a lot of, he's made movies at this point. Gerald's gave him and shit, but none of them were like out of the box hits except for maybe that Ouija movie. But he'd done Haunting of Hill House by this point, and Haunting of Hill House was like a phenomenon when that came out.
Giant.
Yeah. So like it was inescapable. I don't think I intended to watch it, and then it was just like, it feels like I got to.
It was like the perfect. It came out like like September, like right before October, like right. We were gearing up. We watched it like all October. I feel like it was perfect timing. Perfect timing.
It was, man. I remember the middle part was my favorite part, like episodes 4 through 6.
That's what everyone says. 6 was the best, and
Is that the one that's sort of a bottle episode?
Yeah. It's all like in the house during the storm. But then like episode 7 is all
amazing.
Episode 7 is like all in the funeral home, and that's like a kind of an even better episode. I think 7 is awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of monologuing in it. I think maybe
that's
I
Mike
just got, like,
Flanagan's thing.
Sick. I know, but at the end of 10 episodes, I think I got sick of it.
It's like 2 episodes too long, possibly. You can condense it.
Agreed. It should 100% be 8.
Yeah, 8 was perfect.
Yeah. Okay. This movie comes out November 8th, 2019, right before COVID. Like a few months before COVID.
It's already existing in some parts. They already know about it, probably.
Well,
it's
we're not
COVID-19, so
yeah, we're not giving a fuck about it here in America.
We don't
yet.
care.
Yeah.
We didn't care
it's not
until
gonna
when?
reach
Tom
here.
Hanks? Was Tom Hanks like the real
Tom,
first?
you're right. It was Tom Hanks.
Well, to me, it was Rudy Gobert. Like for basketball fans, Rudy Gobert started it in the NBA, and then like the NBA shut down, and then I think it's more spread. But Tom Hanks was the first celebrity when people really noticed it.
I think I was already caring. Like I read a lot about it, and it was like people were like theorizing, like, I think we're gonna have to all stay in our homes for months, and I was like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, and then we learned like
But
Tom
then
Hanks was staying in Australia for
found-
a week, and we were like, oh, I guess
yeah.
this is serious business.
Then I found out I was an essential employee, so I had to fucking go out every day. Anyway.
Yeah, I was working at Domino's. I had to go to Domino's every day. It sucked.
Yeah.
People weren't tipping either.
It was so annoying. I had to work as a doorman at this fucking rich people apartment building, and all of them were staying home all the time. Like, so it was a lot of work. They were all around constantly, but like
they probably weren't going in and out. They're probably just staying up in their rooms, right?
They would go down and take walks and shit though all the time. Yeah.
Gotta get out.
And I was just like, if I was home right now, I would be home.
Open a window if you want to.
Every time someone came down on the elevator, I get annoyed. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Just go home.
That is how the world it got to that point. Like, what are you doing out? Like, I know I'm out too, but like, I want to be alone. Why are you near me?
Yeah. And I don't want to be out.
Yeah.
If it was my choice, I would not be out right now.
You gotta go get groceries sometimes.
Just order them. That's what didn't that become huge during the pandemic?
It costs more money. It's an
It
extra.
was worth it. I did that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into a fucking supermarket with these mongoloids.
What's mongoloids mean? Your
I
testicles?
think it's no, I think
Your
it's like
giant
a
testicles?
I think it's like an even worse word for retarded, and I
Oh
probably
my
shouldn't have used it
goodness.
just now. Sorry.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
You
And
called yourself that?
no, the people in the grocery store.
Oh, them. Okay.
Yeah. There's always a problem in the grocery store in New York. Like anytime I'm in New York at a grocery store, someone's complaining to the cashier, and you're like, oh, I got on the wrong line.
That's why they just go to bodegas in New York. Just shopping
Well,
at
yeah,
those
that's
little places.
generally what I do, but they don't have some shit you need.
Yeah. Man, shopping in Brooklyn especially, it sounds scary.
Yeah, it's not great.
But now you're gone. Are you really in Vegas, Vegas? Like you say all the time, I'm in Vegas. But are you in Las Vegas, Vegas?
Yeah, I live 10 minutes from the strip.
Wow. You ever walk there? Should we
I
talk about
never
Doctor
have.
Sleep now? We're just talking
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah. Maybe we should. Sorry. All right. So this movie cost $55 million to make, and it made $72.3 million at the
Oh.
box office. It's really not good.
Well, The Shining, as we said, I know that was a long time ago, but that made what, $48 million or whatever you
But it
said?
only cost 17.
Right. But this budget is higher than, I know the inflation, but this budget is
Yeah.
higher than that box office. I think that's funny.
People say now that no, it's not 55.72. What are you talking about?
This budget is higher than the other one's box office. the
I
originals.
gotcha. Yeah. Because inflation. But one thing is like now you always hear like for them to even go even on a big movie now, it has to double its budget.
Right, for marketing stuff.
Right.
Which is always
and that's
crazy.
that's
It's really
before
double to
it's
market?
double for like big movies. And this was a big movie. It got promoted pretty heavily. And so 72 on a $55 million budget is like really disappointing.
Disastrous, yeah.
Yeah.
Could end a
So,
career sometimes.
I think Ewan was the wrong choice. Not as an actor. Like, I think he's pretty good in the movie actually. But I don't think he like brings people into the seats.
I don't think so either. But he is good.
But I guess they were thinking of It. Like that didn't really have stars in it either.
No, but it had the 80s vibe was the star.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and Stranger Things was so big at the time that it's sort of like
And we had one of
it
those kids. That was the star.
Yeah, it got run off from that.
Yeah, what a weird time.
Sometimes I'll see someone from It in a movie and I'll be like, I know her from Stranger Things.
Oh no, wait.
But I'm wrong. Yeah.
Lilith, what's her name?
That's one of them. Sophia Lilith. Lilith? Yeah, Lilith.
Yeah, I almost said Lilith too, which is weird. I almost had a lisp, but I thought it was really Lilith.
That's how Cody Rhodes would say it. Sorry. Shots fired at our world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, come on.
Okay. Number 79 is where this came on the box office. And it made slightly less than Bombshell. Remember that?
Yeah, I like it.
And it made slightly more than a Dragon Ball Z movie, Logan, titled Dragon Ball Super, Broly. And of course, that excites me because the name Broly is the only thing my brain is ever able to retain about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, you know him more than Goku.
Yeah,
Broly.
I know Goku's like the main guy or whatever, but I know that there's a character named Broly. And like I was talking to like Tim, he was like watching like the first 500 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and he was like, Broly hasn't even shown up yet. And I was like, what the fuck?
That'd be like a Pikachu not being in Pokemon.
Yeah, but this proves that Broly exists.
I didn't know they made that movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing posts for it in the subway. That might be why I remember Broly so well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So Flanagan and Warner Brothers both wanted to make further Shining movies after this one, but it never happened because it failed. Here were the three that were attempted. Are you ready?
Right. Of course.
The first one is called Overlook, and it was like an origin story of the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. None of them are exciting, I promise. The next one is called Halloran, and it's about young Scatman Crothers.
Jeez, that's even worse. I'd rather see Overlook.
I know. And then this is the one that maybe seems the most viable to me if Doctor Sleep did well. He wanted to make an Abra movie that's like the little black girl after she's grown up.
Yeah, I guess I could see it now. Now she's the new Danny,
Right, exactly.
but I mean, what would we have to wait for that actor to grow up?
I
Or we're
don't
just
know.
abandoning her moving
They
on?
might have recast it. Yeah, I don't know.
I liked her though. I thought she was pretty good.
Really? She's my LVP.
Yeah, I know. I knew from your old
Why do you know
review.
that?
Your old review was like, "There's a moppet running around this film." You said that, so I was like, "Oh my god, he hates her."
That's funny.
Yep.
I think I liked everything slightly more on a rewatch. I'll say that, but I was still pretty down on that part of it. All this stuff with like the psychic vampires, I fucking hate.
It reminded me of Twilight. You know, at the end,
Is like fucking
It's
Twilight.
like the first
Look,
Twilight.
Listen, the two things you've compared that shit to at this point are Twilight and Harry Potter. And those are two things that have no reason to be in a Shining movie.
You're right. You're right. But you know, and it's like Cam Giganet's tracking her at the end of the movie, at the end of the first movie, you're trying to find out where she is, and we're like seeing visions of like the ballet studio or whatever, and we go there. It reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, I remember they getting that big fight.
Yeah, awesome. And there's like a cool song playing.
Yep.
And I think it's performed by Pattinson. I think that's his song.
Robert Pattinson, really?
He sings a song that's playing in that scene. Yeah.
Do you think he'll show up in Joker Folie à Deux and sing?
I do. No. Is that the same universe? No, it's not. Because isn't Joker Barry Keoghan or the other guy? Whichever one we always forget.
I guess you're right, man.
Yeah.
It is
Barry.
Wait,
no, it is the same universe. Because Barry's in
that
universe. He plays Riddler. Wait, what movie was Joker?
But Joker shows up at the end of the Batman movie. You might not remember because you're already 3 hours in at this point.
Oh no, you're right. Joker's its own
I think
thing.
it's like Paul Dano, maybe.
Yeah, it's Paul Dano's the Riddler and Barry Keoghan is Joker.
Oh, that's what I forget
guys
constantly.
Legitimately, like you might think this is a bit because you hear this. If you hear this all the time, we really forget what they are until we do that. Until we really sort it out.
I think the problem is that Barry Keoghan and Paul Dano are too similar as actors.
They are similar, but we've known Paul Dano for 20 years, and Barry Keoghan we just met a few years ago.
But he's accepted. I've already seen his cock.
Yeah, we never seen Paul Dano's.
Yeah, that's right. So he's got a step above Dano.
Yeah, that's how it works. If we've seen it, then you're better than the people we haven't seen.
That's right. Show your cock more. That's my advice to actors.
We've seen Ewan. Okay. We had to have seen Ewan's, right? Is Ewan?
I don't think so.
I feel like it's in like. Is he not naked in Trainspotting? We never see.
I don't believe we see that schlong.
Okay, all right. But I did think it was good casting here because he's doing like a recovering addict. He's good at that.
Again, I think Ewan McGregor is really good in this movie, actually. But I just think if they wanted to make money at the box office, like Ewan McGregor has just never, ever done well as the lead of a movie. Like I'm in terms of box office.
Right. I agree. But
I mean, I remember like his first thing when Danny Boyle, like Trainspotting was such a cult hit and shit. And Shallow Grave, and then he decided like let's make a mainstream movie together. Ewan, you're gonna star in A Life Less Ordinary with Cameron Diaz, and then like nobody saw that movie. And then his next movie, he abandoned Ewan and replaced him in The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio, which I mean in hindsight is probably the thing to do.
Yeah, Ewan's known. It's probably I think he's just known as Obi-Wan, kind of. That's the problem.
I think Ewan's sort of like one of these dudes that's like a character actor, but he's really handsome, so he gets leading man roles, and I feel like there's a disconnect.
Yeah, it's weird, but some people can really do it. Like Ryan Gosling's that way, but Ryan Gosling is a good character actor, even though he's also kind of a movie star.
He can do both. That's the thing. I feel like he changes it up a little bit when he has to star in a movie. He's able to like genericized himself a little bit, like in Crazy Stupid Love.
The reason I bring up Gosling is because this role is a little bit the role of like the Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2049, where it's like we just have to follow some
It's a little
new
bit like
actor
that, yeah.
into our old franchise, you know. And
But it's at
he does a
least
good
the
job.
same character. Isn't Gosling like an original character? in
Right,
Blade
it's
Runner?
true. It's yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The only thing to give this nominations is the Saturn Awards, but they gave it a
Whoa.
lot.
Okay.
Ewan McGregor was nominated for Best Actor of the Year. He lost to John David Washington for Tenet, which is fucking dumb. John David
Dumb.
Washington, I've seen him be good and stuff, and he is a total blank slate in Tenet.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there were like other things nominated, like other nominees in that category were like Delroy Lindo for the Five
Five
Bloods. Like, yeah, like really good acting performances. Here, actually, let me pull it up because it was kind of interesting. It was the other, like Daniel Craig was nominated for Knives Out, and
Oh, yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix was nominated for Joker. He ended up winning the fucking Oscar for it,
But can't win a Saturn.
but they gave it to John David Washington.
yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, it was 2019. They might have just wanted to give it to a black actor, but if you're gonna do that, go with Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, he's right there. All right. Anyway, Best Actress Rebecca Ferguson got a nom, but she lost to Elizabeth Moss for The Invisible Man.
Lee Winnell. Shout out.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Lee Winnell was also nominated for Best Director that year for that, and so was Mike Flanagan. But I'll tell you what, in the dumbest decision in motion picture history, they gave it to J.J. Abrams for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I fucking can't believe it.
What are we doing? JJ?
What are we
Why would we
doing?
give that to JJ? Is
Yeah,
that
I
all
mean, if you
JJ
wanna
did
give
was
it-
those Star Wars and then that's it? He gave up? He's done?
No, I mean, I don't think he's made a movie since that, but he's made other movies.
Right, but even since his first Star Wars, I think he only made that and then nothing except this new
No,
Star Wars.
I disagree. I think he might have made Super 8 between Star Wars movies.
You said I disagree, like it's an opinion. Like you can just say you're wrong.
I think
I
you're wrong.
disagree. No.
Yeah. See, he did. Oh no, you're totally right, dude. He made Super 8 in 2011, the sequel to his Star Trek movie in 2013, and then Force Awakens. So since
Yeah.
2015, all he's done is one good Star Wars movie and one bad Star Wars movie.
It's so fucking sad.
It is, man. He produces a lot, though.
It's not good enough unless you only care about money.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you on that, honestly.
When I was a kid, a
JJ.
producer was like my number one job, what I wanted to be. I was like, I want to be a fucking movie producer.
I remember like watching Felicity back in the day with JJ, which JJ created, and he wrote like maybe 12 episodes in the first season.
Yeah.
Like he was prolific as a writer.
He doesn't get anything out of it these days.
Yeah, I don't know. Go write something, JJ.
Wouldn't that be awesome if it was like JJ's next thing coming out? Wouldn't that be cool?
Totally original. I would be excited about it.
So excited.
Yeah. But he won
Alas.
Best Director. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
All right. So it was also nominated for editing, which it lost to Knives Out, which is a good call, I think.
Mike edits his own stuff, which is I always think.
Does he? He's like Kevin Smith.
Exactly. Yep.
Also, best horror film of the year, but it lost to The Invisible Man.
Midsommar.
Yeah, that was also nominated. It lost.
Parasite, is that horror?
I think that might have been a different year.
Ready or Not, The Lighthouse.
Well, okay. I don't. Ready or Not. Oh, Ready or Not was actually nominated.
That's a good movie. What are you talking about?
It is good, but
Us.
I would. All right, let me pull up that one. Hang on.
The Lodge. I'm looking at all my horror films from this year.
Just so you know, I'll pull that one up.
Ma.
Look how
There's a
close.
ton of horror movies. Child's Play, Annabelle Creation.
All right,
La
here were the
Llorona.
losers. Here were the losers that year: Doctor Sleep, Freaky, It Chapter 2, Midsommar, Ready or Not, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Ooh, that was bad. Did you see that?
No, I mean it's associated with Guillermo del Toro, and I'm done with him.
Yeah, it's garbage. It could have been cool, like an anthology type thing, but it's shit. I fucking hate
I
it.
read that as a kid too. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I read
think I
the
did
fuck
too.
out of that book.
Yeah.
That had the one with the girl who like wears a scarf all the time. And then everyone's like, why you wear that scarf all the time, little girl? And she's like, listen, don't take my fucking scarf off. And then someone finally takes it off and her head falls off.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah. I was like, is he about to say the thing where and then yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was that. Wow, that kind of unlocked a memory. That's
There you
pretty
go.
cool.
I remember hearing that story in like elementary school on Halloween. Like a teacher read that.
Man, that's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. All right. A couple more Saturn Awards. Makeup. It lost to that Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And writing. It lost to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is fair enough.
Yep.
And but here it won one Saturn Award.
All right.
Best Younger Actor.
Hell yeah. She did it.
Kylie Curran, who plays
Abra.
Abra, which is the name of a Pokemon.
Yeah. All right.
You know I hate close-up magic, okay? So I'm already anti this character. And then we find out her fucking name is Abra. So what they knew from birth, she'd be really into magic? What are we doing?
Abra doesn't have to be close-up magic. It could be any kind of magic.
But it's a magic. It's abracadabra.
Right.
So how did her favorite thing ends up being magic? Why did her parents name her that?
Sometimes you fit what your name is. I don't know. Sometimes it is like that. You meet a person, it's like, oh yeah, your name has to be your name because it would not be anything else. You ever get that?
I feel like more often than not, you make that assumption about somebody, and they're like, "Please don't say that. I fucking hate that."
Oh, okay. Well,
my girlfriend's name is Dallas, and people all the time asking her, "Are you from Texas?" And she's like, "No, I actually fucking hate Texas. If I had to get 2 states out of the union, one of them would be Texas,
and one would be Alabama." And
then no, Florida.
Like, oh,
she says Florida. Yeah, which I understand the Florida one. I feel like Texas. It is
huge. Do to you?
Why don't they just make Texas part of Mexico? Like they're always worried about that border, right?
Yeah,
just
that's a good point.
Shoot it up top.
But then the border becomes no border. It's just Texas.
That's what I'm saying. Now you don't have to worry about that anymore.
But then I don't know. I feel like that's even more of a problem.
I feel like we should just let Mexico have Texas.
I don't really.
Is that wrong to say?
I don't have a care really.
Okay.
I don't like Texas because it's like where rich people go whenever they get all their money, and then they're like, I don't want to have to pay a lot on taxes. I'll go live in Texas.
And it's like mostly rich conservatives too.
I think that's like the go-to place, or like Arizona, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's where the Bushes live and shit.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan, that's what he did.
He did.
We talked about him a few times this episode. I kind of don't like.
Yeah, he's come up twice.
Yeah, what is this? Well, it's a long episode, so I guess it makes sense.
It is so long. Let's get into
yeah, we haven't talked about Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. All right.
So he's an alcoholic, or he was.
Yeah. It opens on the same score as The Shining, which I think is cool. That's like a worthwhile callback, I think. Mm-hmm. But we start in Florida, 1980. Speaking of Florida, and it's a little girl, and she meets Rebecca Ferguson and her hat. I feel like the hat should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
I agree.
And she's another one with a dumb name. She's like
great name,
Rose the Hat.
That's right. What's wrong?
Like that's the defining thing about you. You have a hat.
Yep. It's the coolest hat you've ever seen.
I always remember Carl Pilkington on an old Ricky Gervais show saying like when he was young, his dad had a friend named like Frankie the Hat, and the reason he was called that was he never wore a hat.
He never wore a hat.
Yeah. And I was like, and Ricky's like, how do people notice that? Like, who like looks at someone and is like, that dude never wears a hat.
Yeah, in 20 years of knowing you, I've never seen you wear a hat. You're Frankie the Hat. Yeah. It's so weird that your name is the thing you're not known for. Also.
I know. It's sort of like how like they call fat dudes tiny.
I thought you were gonna say that's good. That's good. But it's like William the Bloody because he's bloody bad at poetry. It's like what?
Well,
What
but
is
that's one of the dumbest things about Buffy.
right? Yeah, that's so weird. Frankie
Yeah.
the Hat. I like him. I like Rose the Hat. I think it's also her name is that, so it's like intriguing to little kids. They want to know more. Like, what's the hat? What are you about?
Yeah, she does pull a bunny out of there. And I'm like, oh God, already with this fucking close-up magic. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
you're out.
Uh
Would you rather Abra's name be Alla Kazam? Her last name Kazam, first name Alla?
no, I'd like her name to be like Melissa.
Okay. Melissa Barrera.
No,
What
not
if she's like,
her.
hi, I'm Melissa Barrera? That'd be
I'd
crazy.
be like, I'm gonna turn off this movie because you hate Jews. Anyway, this girl, I really don't like. Oh, it's a different little girl. We'll get to the other girl.
This girl's
Uh,
great. Violet McGraw.
Hasn't she been in a bunch of stuff? I feel like I recognize this
She's
little girl
in
from
other
stuff.
Mike Flanagan stuff. She's in The Haunting of
Oh,
Hill House
this
as
that
one of
one.
the.
God, he cannot stop reusing actors.
That's why we talked about it earlier. It was because of her, I think. She was the
No. We said Abra showed up in.
I think we went to her next. I think is what happened.
Oh,
We like talked about her,
okay.
and then you brought up Abra because I didn't know
Okay.
Abra.
So who's this little girl?
She was one of the girls from Haunting of Hill House. You know how they're adults and also little kids.
Oh yeah.
She's one of the little kids, and she's probably been
Oh
in
yeah.
other stuff.
She's young. His wife.
Okay, yeah, I forget her name.
Do you think he's like a little attracted to her because
I don't
he
think
thinks
so.
she looks like his wife?
I don't think she looks like her at all. This is a little blonde girl.
But no, she's got dark hair. What are you talking about?
Violet McGraw. I thought
Yeah, she has
I thought she
Sorry,
had.
bless-
Bless you.
Bless me, thank you.
That was the
but-
demon trying to get in.
Yeah, but no, she's.
I know she does on IMDb on this photo.
She
but
did in Doctor Sleep too.
Are you lying?
No,
Am I misremembering who this is? Oh, she's
Maybe.
in Megan too. Oh, maybe I just.
Mithrigan.
Yeah, she's in Mithrigan. Guess I just think of her as having lighter hair than she does.
She doesn't. She's like got kind of gothy hair.
Yeah, she has dark hair. What am I talking about?
Her mom, by the way, at the beginning of Doctor Sleep, is played by Bethany Ann Lind, who's a terrible stage parent. Now, she's the mother of the girl who plays the girl that like puts pedophiles to sleep and then like scratches their face.
Yeah.
That's she has two daughters who both show up in things. And anytime I see either of them in anything, even though they're like at this point, they're like over 18, like fucking the mom is always there.
So the girl Emily Allen Lind is who you're talking about?
Emily Allen Lind is the girl. The mom's name is Bethany Ann Lind.
So the actor, so she's always there. That's weird.
She's always in anything you see either of those actors in. I think the sister's name is Natalie Allen Lind, and I always see the mom pop up in her shit too.
Huh. But that has nothing to do with Violet McGraw, does it?
No, I'm just saying she played
okay.
Violet McGraw's mom.
Okay, that is weird. But I liked Emily Allen Lind. I thought that she was good.
I actually like both of them. I think both of the younger actors are fine. I just would like to watch something with them without the fucking mom showing up.
Yeah, I never knew that. That is weird. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Like I've heard of them like being in the trailers and like
Yeah,
coaching them.
I've heard them being on set too much, but like
not in the movies.
demanding roles. I don't know. It's strange. All right. Anyway, we get Danny. We're still in 1980, so it's just fake everybody. Like they get different actors. It throws me off. Honestly, I don't want to see different actors playing these characters.
I kind of didn't mind it.
Because they don't really look like them. They resemble them.
They resemble them, but it's shot well, which is what I really held on to.
No, the whole movie shot well. Mike Flanagan is a good director. I actually think Mike Flanagan was an inspired choice to direct this movie. Like,
Yeah.
if I had to pick anyone to direct a sequel to The Shining, Mike Flanagan would be on that list.
He
But-
actually should have done it instead of Andy Muschietti.
Maybe, but this is more adult, and he tends to direct like his shit is for adults, which I appreciate about Mike Flanagan. I just think he was too beholden to the book which isn't good.
It's a balancing act. He's trying to do two things at once, though.
Yeah, it doesn't really work for me ultimately in the long run. But there are people that swear by this movie. Like a dude I really respect on IMDb wrote a very thoughtful 4-star review of
Letterboxd?
this. What did I say? IMDb?
Yeah.
Yeah, Letterboxd. I mean, if you don't know, follow him. I follow this dude. His name is Movies Movington on Letterboxd. He followed me once, and so I just followed him back. And his reviews are great. They're always really thoughtful and on point. And he loved this movie. So, like, there are people out there that are able to get past all my qualms with it and just watch it as like an adult horror movie. And I wish I could do that, honestly.
Yeah. I just followed him. Movies Movington.
Movies Movington. Yeah.
Great.
Uh, so we get fake Danny in the house. He spots room 237 in his own house, and he pisses himself. I needed that shot. And then fake Shelley Duvall cleans his piss up.
Yeah. Fake Shelley Duvall is here.
Yeah.
He's scared.
don't-
Come on.
I don't like fake Shelley Duvall at all. I really don't like fake Shelley Duvall and fake Danny. I think they did a little bit better with fake Halloran.
Yeah, I thought that guy was actually pretty good with like
Yeah,
his
th-
voice and
it's
everything.
that dude is Carl Lumbly, who is like a legit actor. I've seen him in a ton of shit. He was a regular on the show Alias. Okay. But he's in a lot of movies. And I he's actually in the Fall of the House of Usher. I forgot that. Yeah. So, he got used again.
He's like interviewing the dead, isn't he?
No, we see him on a bench with Danny. And he
Oh
explains.
no, I'm
the
talking
whole-
about in the Fall of the House Usher. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't know. But he complained he sort of introduces the idea that you can like put these demons into boxes in your mind.
Yeah, I don't know if I loved that part of the movie. The CGI like
The-
boxes and stuff.
It looked stupid, but
So
I do
dumb.
think the payoff of it at the end kind of worked.
Yeah, but just the visual I really couldn't get behind.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you on that one. But anyway, Carl Lumbly, he's legit, man. So I was able to like look past the fact that he's playing Scatman Crothers, and I was just like, hey, Carl Lumbly, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we got next up. Oh, now we got Ewan. All right, that's all the flashback shit.
Yeah, you didn't remember that he like let a little baby die, I guess.
Yeah, that's I kind of remember it now looking at it because we cut to New Jersey in 2011 and I forgot that there's a further cut to 8 years later when he's like fully sober and has been for years.
Right.
But this part I forgot that we meet Danny. I mean, not it is Danny, right?
Yeah.
Old Danny.
Old
We
Danny.
meet him as like a
man Danny.
complete fucking drunk.
Yeah, and he hooks up with a woman, leaves her and her baby, and it turns out she like overdosed or died in her sleep or something, and the baby also dies because she's not there to look after him anymore.
And he's still talking to Scatman Crothers' ghost.
Yeah, he still does do that.
Yeah. Then we go to Long Island, and I'm like, oh god, I wanted to turn it off. I don't want to.
We're in.
Island.
This is you and Henry because we also spend time in New Jersey. We go to Long Island and we go to New
That's
Jersey.
true.
for
We
this
we
film.
cut from New Jersey,
And we have
straight
a
to
Dare,
Long Island.
Iowa.
Oh my god,
This is
all three
crazy.
franchise hosts in one.
And we had Tim Allen, Indiana.
That's
That's crazy,
Aniston,
though, right?
New Hampshire, man. Maybe you'll be replaced someday by Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, or Nicole Aniston, the porn star.
I forgot her.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Anyway, on Long Island, that's where we get that scene in the movie theater, which I really liked at first. Like this girl she makes dates with pedophiles in chat rooms and shit. And then she invites them out. And what she does is she puts them to sleep with this little power she's got because she's got some shining in her, bro. And she
You're making a joke out of The Shining. It's so funny. You hate
and
it.
then yeah, I think that stuff is stupid. But I liked this scene, and she like scratches his face and under sleep, she's like, "This was a snake bite." And anytime you think about the snake bite, you're gonna say, I'm attracted to little kids.
Yeah, pretty good. And then I think that's the last we see of that guy, right?
Yeah, no, he's gone for the rest of the movie.
Pretty
But
awesome.
I thought that scene was cool until we like pan to the back of the theater
What? Come on.
and like Rebecca Ferguson and the Crow.
Oh, I didn't like
By
that.
the
Crow
way.
Daddy. Crow Daddy is his name.
Yeah, they're in there like scouting this girl.
Why is
Like,
that
is
bad?
is her shining strong enough to be part of our psychic vampire crew?
It's just what they do. I thought that was pretty cool.
I just think everything with those characters is lame. I'm so sorry.
No, I liked Rebecca. I didn't like Crow Daddy. Every scene with like Crow Daddy and Rebecca Ferguson, cut it out. That's not necessary. But everything with Rebecca Ferguson was awesome.
Crow Daddy, I at least recognized from some shit. Like, he's really good in the second season of Fargo.
Yeah. With Ewan?
With you? No. That's the third season. Listen to
Oh,
that.
shit.
Fargo loves using Dr. Sleep actors
Yeah.
before Dr. Sleep came out. But so I thought the performance wasn't too bad, but
Maybe.
I didn't like the character.
Hated the character. There's actually one cool scene where he tries to like negotiate with her, like, come on, we're dying, we got to get something here, and she's like annoyed that she has to share, which is kind of lets you know a lot about her character, which is pretty cool. But that Crow Daddy is my LVP. Spoiler
Oh
alert.
wow, LVP to Crow Daddy.
I assume you're gonna go with Wendy, right?
No, I'm going with Abra.
Oh, Abra still. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But Crow Daddy, you like what you were saying about her, like fucking hogging all the steam. She does, because like after everyone dies in her crew, she opens up like 5 of those fucking steam bottles and just like binges on it.
Yeah, it's awesome. She's cool. That's why I like her. You don't even like her?
I love Rebecca Ferguson, and my impulse is to like this character, but I don't.
No, I thought she was cool and mysterious and alluring, and I understood why I understood why kids want to like go with her, and they get tricked by her.
I guess so. Yeah. I gotta say though, Jacob Tremblay is really stupid for getting in that van.
Yeah,
Like, a van stops you on the side of a road. Don't get in there.
terrible move. Fucking terrible move.
Yeah. He deserves to be dead.
It's crazy how he's like the star player and his parents let him walk the games back, like walk to and from games.
You know, some parents don't go to their kids' games, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but I feel like he should like get a ride back. He says he's just down the road. Like, why doesn't the coach offer him a ride or something?
Was that a line?
Or maybe
Just down the road?
yeah, he says to them like,
Just down
I
that
don't need
road.
a ride. I'm just walking down the road here. Down the
That's
road.
another Stephen King
Yeah.
thing. It's all connected.
Classic stuff. Fred Gwynn. But we then go to Anniston, New Hampshire, and we get a lot of close-up magic. And it's 2019, so we got some sweet multiracial parents. That's nice.
Do you know the mom? We've talked
no.
about her, I think, at least once. She's Jocelyn Donahue from House of the Devil. She's the girl from House of the Devil, and she played.
Oh, holy fuck!
Yeah,
I didn't make that connection. Yeah, she's the main girl in House of the Devil.
And in Insidious 3, we get like some flashbacks to when they were young, and she played the mom of Patrick Wilson at young, like when she was younger and he was a young little boy.
Okay.
She's her. So I like her. I think
That's
she's a good actor. I
interesting.
hope she makes it. I hope she like breaks through and really like is in a lot of stuff, because she's only really done these like horror type movies.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
cool.
after House of the Devil came out, she was gonna like bust out, but it never really happened for her.
Only her co-star in that film, right?
Who, Tom Noonan?
Greta Gerwig.
Oh, you mean Greta Gerwig? Yeah, of
Only worked
course.
for her.
She gets capped. Anyway, I recognize the dad too, because he was in The Nevers. He was in a Joss Whedon show called The Nevers.
Yeah,
It's
I
his
don't know.
worst show ever.
Worst show never,
It's his worst show ever. Yeah.
if you say so.
Yeah, man. It was like he did it for HBO, and I was like, man, I bet it's gonna be good. He gets HBO money. He's got like there's characters can curse and shit, but it felt like it was for babies. Like I fucking hated it.
Wow. All right. Not for you.
I watched the whole first season, of course, but anyway, he was in there and he was pretty good in there, so it was sort of satisfying to see him show up here.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, back in New Hampshire, the multiracial parents, they have this really dumb magic kid named Abra. They named her that because they sensed she would love magic someday, and they were right.
Maybe they
And
have magical powers and they gave it to her and they gave her that name because they knew she
they
would have the magic.
don't. They
You
do
don't know.
not have magic. We do know that.
I guess.
Fucking the dad knows nothing about The Shining.
I know, I'm reaching.
He instantly thinks Ewan McGregor's a pedophile for hanging out with his daughter,
Yeah.
which is, by the way, the right assumption to make.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
There is a scene, dude, where Ewan McGregor spots the kid at like Teeny Town.
Right.
By the way, that whole town square is the town square from Gilmore Girls, just with different storefronts.
I like actually.
Yes.
Whoa, that's got to be a crazy experience watching.
It was mind blowing to me. So when they're in the center, they do a lot in like that courtyard in Gilmore Girls. So I immediately spotted it, and Teeny Town even is kind of quirky, like making a little tiny version of a town. It felt like something they do on Gilmore Girls.
I really liked it. Thought it was fun.
No, I did too, but it was strange. Anyway, for me, but he spots her in Teeny Town, the little girl, and then he calls over to Cliff Curtis, who's his best friend. He's like, "Gotta go to lunch." All right. And Cliff Curtis is like, okay. And then Cliff Curtis watches him go off and sit on a bench with like a 10-year-old girl or something.
He even draws attention to it. Like, I'm sitting on a bench with a 10-year-old girl.
I'm going over here with this 10-year-old. Okay. And it's like, I wanted there a scene after that where he goes back over to work at Teeny Town. Cliff Curtis comes over and is like, listen, man, you okay? Are you doing some weird shit? But no, he never questions it. Cliff Curtis is like, listen, my dude here is friends with a 10-year-old. That is totes cool.
Happens all the time here in Maine. Where are they again?
I think they're in New Hampshire, aren't they? Because they live pretty close to where the girl lives.
That's right.
Fraser, New Hampshire. Wow. That's what it is. I wrote it down. And it is Fraser, not Fraser.
Yeah, let's specify. Did we mention Lurch from the Addams Family is in this?
I certainly wanted to. Yeah, he plays like the oldest member of the psychic vampires, and he dies in the movie.
He dies. I love that scene where he dies, where we're all like, "No, oh my god, you got to pull through. You're gonna make it." And then he dies, and we're immediately like. Like sucking up all the stuff that comes out.
Hang on, we gotta get that steam.
Yeah, that's a good part. I really like that.
I thought he was pretty good in that scene actually, and I was like surprised because I don't think of him as like a real actor. He's one of these dudes that's just like a tall dude, so they put him as like freaks and stuff.
Right.
But he's been acting since at least 1991 that we know of. So like, I guess he developed a little talent along the way.
Yeah, he was good here as the old man.
Yeah, I thought it was good. All right, so Danny buses into Stars Hollow, and he is fucking like still a drunk. So Cliff Curtis spots him immediately, and Cliff Curtis is like the nicest guy that's ever existed. Like, no, when I was a drunk, even like fellow drunks weren't offering me apartments in their building.
Yeah, it seemed a little overly nice. And he hooks him up with Bruce Greenwood, his AA guy.
Who's another big Mike Flanagan guy.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. I love Bruce Greenwood, though, so I'm always happy to see him. But yeah, he brings him to an AA meeting led by Bruce Greenwood. The first thing we hear is the Serenity Prayer. So I, as an AA goer myself, I recited it along with the film.
I love it.
God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change. Wait, I fucked it up now.
Oh my God. It's you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an eternity. If you cannot afford one, mom will be appointed to you.
No,
I forgot the rest.
It's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. I like that.
I know, right? It's pretty fucking good. They read
Amen.
that shit at every AA meeting you ever go to.
That's good.
All right. Now, so he's at the AA meeting and he like gets it immediately. Like all it took was one AA meeting, and he's like, "I'm fucking sober now, guys."
Yeah. Oh, had he not been sober the whole time? I thought he was just like in a new town, so we're like giving him a new. I actually don't know. Is he not sober yet?
I think he is sober, but like maybe a couple days sober. And then we
Oh,
see him in his apartment, his new apartment, like really wanting to drink whiskey. And so he goes down to Cliff Curtis's apartment and he's like, I need help. And Cliff Curtis immediately understands what that means because he's a recovered alcoholic.
right, right. So very newly reformed, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he gets it though. I've never seen someone quit drinking that quickly and easily.
It's not easy. He goes back to it later on.
He doesn't. He
He doesn't
almost
drink
does,
later
but
on.
no, he wants to, but he doesn't do it. He breaks the bottle.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So Ewan works in a hospice. I wonder if Cliff Curtis got him that job too.
I think that he did. No, I think
I think you're right.
no, I think Bruce Greenwood does, doesn't he? He says like I have
Oh,
a place I
that's
work
correct.
at and they need a
Yes,
janitor. So
that's 100%. Yeah, so he works in a janitor at the hospice, but there's some spooky shit about the hospice,
a
bro.
cat that knows who's gonna die next.
Yeah, so stupid. It's a cute cat though. I will say
Very
that.
cute.
Yeah, it's kind of adorable. Like I
They're all
wanted to pet
adorable.
it,
Yeah, me
but I
too.
very rarely see a cat in a movie where I'm like, I want to pick that guy up.
I wanted to do the Lion King thing with it. I wanted to pick it up. Nah, Señor. I want to do the whole thing.
Anime cinema. Yeah, whatever. It's what a classic. All right, so the
Crazy
cat
we
can
never did the Lion
sense.
King, honestly.
We've never done the Lion King.
I mean, I know there was
Oh
like
yeah,
one and a
I've never
half and two and like the
I've never
remake.
seen those.
They're
I
all
think that's
bad,
what we'd have
but
to do. We'd have to do Lion King, Lion King 1.5, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and then the remake.
and there's a new Mufasa coming out by the Moonlight
This year.
director.
I'm so disappointed in.
Yeah. It's weird that they got 5 movies. But
You know what I'm excited about though?
what's that?
Jenkins, he's directing that for the money, clearly. But I saw he's also got another movie coming out that he wrote, but he's got the sole screenwriting credit. But that lady that directed Mudbound, Rachel Morrison, is directing it. So it's like
Okay.
it's like we'll almost get a real Barry Jenkins movie this year.
Yeah, that's almost good enough. That's like
Yeah.
70% good enough. I'll take it.
Listen, if he's gonna be fucking directing Mufasa the movie, then at least write some shit you care about, please. So the cat can sense death coming, and so Ewan he'll go in there and like, I guess this is the next guy to die. And so he first meets an old man, and the old man calls him Doctor Sleep. And that's the only time we hear that in the movie. I don't really understand the title.
I
I
didn't
gotta say.
either. And the scene didn't really justify it enough for me. I didn't like it.
Neither did yeah, same here. And also there's another character in this movie whose power is to put people to sleep, and she's not Doctor Sleep.
Great point. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes less sense.
It's weird. Anyway, we go to 8 years later. Ewan, he's still in this town, Stars Hollow, and he's clean shaven now. He had a beard for the whole first part of the movie.
Yeah, he was just Obi-Wan Kenobi, but now he's Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. And he gets his 8-year chip. And since it's 8 years later, that means he never relapsed once. He just stopped drinking,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Once you start, you never look back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you usually relapse a couple times. I did, for sure. And
He probably did.
everybody else that I've known that's an alcoholic did. So you know. He
Yeah.
didn't. He gets his 8-year chip. 8
No,
years
like
later.
before that, like when we skip ahead from like when he was bad and then now he's kind of sober. Like I think we had skipped when he was like falling off and on, maybe.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But you want to know something about me, Logan?
Yeah.
This Saturday is my 7-year anniversary.
7 years. That's incredible.
I haven't had a drink in
Congratulations,
almost
Dietrich.
7 years. Thank you,
How have you
man.
not died if you haven't had one single drink this whole
I
time?
know. I know. It's rough.
It's crazy.
I still get tempted sometimes. Like not that I like consider drinking, but sometimes I'll like smell whiskey or something, or I'll see someone drinking like a refreshing beer on
Or a
TV, and I'm like,
commercial, yeah,
yeah, and I'm like, just
yeah,
fuck my life. Yeah, I get into that mode sometimes, but then I just have to go like to an AA meeting and shit. And then I'm
yeah.
fine.
That's why they're there.
Yeah.
They're really helpful.
That's why they're there. It's for sure true. Okay. We go to Adair, Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then uh we get a character named Baseball Boy.
Baseball
According
boy.
according to Abra.
Played by-
Abra, by the way, communicates with Ewan McGregor through a chalkboard in his hospice.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, is it in his hospice or is it in his house?
It's in his bedroom, I think.
Yeah,
I think he
you're
like
right,
sometimes
you're right.
wakes up like in a cold sweat, looks at the board.
I think I used to think it was in his hospice, like early in the movie, but then later on when it cracks and shit, we do see him like walking around his apartment. So
Yeah.
it's definitely his apartment.
Yep.
Um,
I think it's kind of
so-
cool how it's like it's the whole movie. They just keep writing around what they've already written. It's kind of
yeah, and neither of them are quite sure that the person they're communicating with is like a real person.
right. Yeah,
But then they meet and it's exciting.
well, they probably know. They're so in tune
No,
with
no,
The Shining.
he I think he knows because he's in tune with The Shining. But she explains to him later on, like, I was like you when you were a kid, man. Like when you first met Scatman Crothers and shit, and like he was the first person you ever met that like had the same thing you did. You just thought you were a freak. Like she said that the same thing happened to me, man. Like you were the first person I ever communicated with. I wasn't even sure you were real.
So I could. That's why I could see it being an Abra movie where she's the new Danny, because Danny was the Scatman to her. It's kind of cool in that sense.
Agreed. Even though I hate the character Abra, I think that is the most viable sequel idea for this.
I mean, or they could just make an Overlook movie or show or whatever. I could see that.
No one wants that. It's not gonna have a story. What are you gonna see the Grady guy like kill his?
It'd be like the White Lotus.
I don't
at the
need
Overlook
that
Hotel.
shit.
I don't know.
White Lotus. What, they're gonna make the commentary on Class?
Commentary on ghosts. What do you think?
Oh God, that should be the third season. We're too far gone already. Anyway,
and yeah, so Jacob Tremblay is Baseball Boy, and he dies, and Abra sees it happen like through The Shining. She like feels it through him.
yeah, and unlike Abra, Jacob Tremblay is such a good
Oh
kid
my
actor.
God.
Like he's almost too good in this
Too
scene. Like,
good.
I don't need it to feel that bad.
It's so real. He is so amazing. He's the best. He's the best.
He's one of the great kid actors, man. I mean, he was in Room and Good Boys.
Compare this to Good Boys. How hilarious he is in that, and how terrified. Oh, The Room too. How terrified he is in this and Room and
just Room. But he's also done a lot of voice.
though.
He was Luca.
Oh yeah. No, he was. Yeah, was he Luca or the other one? There's two of them.
He was Luca, and he was also Flounder in that live action Little Mermaid movie.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
yeah, he's awesome. He's the best.
Yeah, apparently I just noticed this. He's in this film Before I Wake, which is one of those Flanagan movies I've never seen before.
And he's also Book of Henry. He's the little brother in Book of Henry, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
he's Henry's little brother.
100%. And his most recent thing is he was the voice of Orion in the new animated film written by Charlie Kaufman, Orion in the Dark, which I'm gonna watch at some point.
Oh wow! All right. So he's I mean, how many Oscars? Over under on Oscars? 2.5 Oscars. No, that's a lot. 1.5 Oscars for Jacob Tremblay. Will he win 2 Oscars?
He's never been nominated for one, but I can totally see.
I thought he was nominated for
one in the future. No, he was just like always on the red carpet with her.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very excited for him for his life. Very cool.
He's a 3-time Saturn Award nominee. I got news for you.
Wow! Shout out
for Room, Wonder. And that's right, Wonder, and that's getting a sequel this year.
Is that where his face is messed up?
Yep.
Oh,
and Luca, he was nominated for that too.
That's weird.
They like nominating voice performances.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember they gave like Smeagol. What's his real name? Gollum. They gave him like best actor one, best supporting actor.
Yeah, well, his real name is Smeagol. His fake name is Gollum, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but most people know him as Gollum. I just always remember Smeagol first because I think about how his brother's name is Deagle.
Yeah,
Or
Deagle.
his best friend, maybe.
I think it's his brother.
I mean, that would make more sense. I feel like it's his best friend because I think it's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. First time I saw it, I never once thought best friend. I just always thought, I think because the murder's so scary, you think brother. I don't know.
I talked about it in my review, so let me pull up my review. My review of Two Towers is just Legolas.
This is the third one. This is the third one.
Oh, it's the third one. Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's best friend. Because listen, I wrote this. If they
Doesn't
wanted
mean
me
you're
to,
right.
I've paid close attention to those movies,
Okay.
man. I said if they wanted me to take the next 3.5 hours seriously, they probably shouldn't have opened by revealing that Smeagol once had a best friend named Deagle.
It is best friend. Deagle is
Yeah.
Smeagol's cousin.
What?
The "my love" is a conventional phrase between them, so I guess that they're cousins.
I don't know. They just hang out a lot, I think.
Yeah, Deagle was the cousin and best friend of Smeagol. So they're cousins and
Okay.
best friends.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
We were both kind of right.
You more, I think.
All right. Abra finds you. Oh, we talked about that already. And then okay. Then is the best part to me. All right. She takes Ewan to see her dad. The dad thinks he's a pedophile. And Ewan's like, you gotta show him the fucking Shining. Do some Shining shit. Dumb. And she does. So then her dad believes it and his hand's shaking. He drinks some whiskey and then he's like, you want some whiskey? And Ewan and Cliff Curtis are both like, we don't drink.
And then he pours
like,
another one for himself, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's a
love
good
that
moment, actually. Yeah.
it's good.
And then so their plan is they're gonna kill all the psychic vampires.
They're
gonna
called. Oh, I wrote it. I guess I didn't write it down. They have a name. The True Knot.
The Knot. That's right. They always refer to themselves as the Knot, and I'm like, that is a wedding magazine. I am so sorry. I can't
They're
take you seriously.
The True Knot.
Oh, that's
the Knot.
The magazine's fake.
They knew you were going to say that. They knew you were going to say that. But this is the True Knot.
All right. So what happens here is they get some rifles with scopes because I guess Cliff Curtis tells this long monologue about how he used to hunt, and it's like I was like, why is this monologue in this movie? And then it comes back because Ewan knows that he has guns. That's why it matters.
What's his character? What is Cliff Curtis?
Just the nicest man in the world.
Yeah, he really plays like every type of guy. He's just like Cliff Curtis. He can play this type of guy. He's played like thugs and stuff, and he's the nicest guy ever. He's played scientists.
Yeah, it's true. He was in Fear the Walking Dead.
He was in I don't know, a bunch of other stuff.
But I'll tell you what, man. I like the scene where they dig up Tremblay.
Yeah, that's cool.
They both get grossed out and vomit.
Yeah, they touch his fingers and they're like, "Oh, fingers."
Well, there's also bugs and shit coming out of his face, so it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
All right, but so they go off with their rifles to kill the Knot, and they fucking succeed big time. Like they kill all of them except for 2. Like even that Emily Lind girl who was like set up as like a major character at the beginning of the movie. She dies pretty unceremoniously. But before she does
not
Billy
that unceremoniously. I guess she doesn't get a ceremony from her friends in that sense. But she does have like a great death where she takes down Cliff with her.
Yeah, but then like Ewan just like pops her. It's weird that like they're treated as immortals at the beginning of the movie, and they're like, we're gonna turn you into one of us, and you're gonna live a really long time.
I thought the same too. Yeah, they just get ambushed and die.
They take like one gunshot, and they turn into steam immediately.
Yeah, I don't really know what their living ability like. I don't know.
Me neither. After that, they find the crow, right? Or the crow takes Abra but Ewan is able to like psychic him, shining himself into the car.
Right. Shining himself, yeah.
and then he like takes over the wheel and like runs the car into a tree, and the crow like goes through the windshield. And I don't know, man. For
Oh,
me, I feel like there's humans that could survive something like that. But
I don't know.
he just fucking dies immediately.
I think you're not that aware of it because you don't drive cars, but going through your windshield, you're probably gonna die. Like there's like an 80%, probably more higher than that, you're gonna die.
But I'm just saying, these motherfuckers talked a big game about how long they live. I think like
You're right. You're right. He shouldn't die, but other
the
normal
fake
people would
Doctor
die.
Sleep girl, she dies like 2 months into becoming a knot.
It's true. It's true. Like
Or
yeah.
I guess 8 years. We did the 8 year cut. So like
What
she
are
lives.
they? They're not immortal.
They're psychic vampires. They don't eat. They feed on people's steam. People who have the shining. And I hate it. I hate this shit. Like The Shining is such a classy movie. And this is just nonsense.
I agree. I agree with that. It's a real dip in class, but I think the idea is cool. Like harvesting the kids with The Shining is cool, but we don't understand why they're doing it or how it helps them to survive. Like,
No, and we also don't understand how they didn't get Danny. There's like a moment later in the movie where Rebecca Ferguson like meets Danny for the first time, and she's like, "How did we miss you?" And I'm like, I have that question too. Maybe explain it to me instead of asking it.
maybe he became so in touch with The Shining so fast in that 1 week of like his dad trying to kill him and him escaping and getting out that he was immortal after that point,
But
untouchable.
there's that whole 5 month period where the dad is drunk, or he's trying to get sober, and Jack Torrance, and the kid is talking to Tony. All right. And he's not even aware that he has the shining at that point. He thinks he's talking to an imaginary friend. And so, why in that 5 month period did they never catch on to this incredibly powerful shining kid who's completely unaware of what he has?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't. I guess
There's
you're
no explanation for it.
and honestly, I wouldn't have thought about it until she brought it up. I would have thought they just like they weren't around back then, maybe.
No,
But
I was thinking about it and I thought it might get explained at some point, but it's not explained. It's literally the question that I had is reiterated in the film,
and
then
their
never
answer
answered.
is yeah, why did that happen? That's their answer. Their answer is the
Yeah,
question of why.
weird. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I didn't hate
Um,
it. That's fine.
all right. So once Crow is dead, all that's left is Ferguson. So she binges on as much steam as she can. And she looked like me, like with a Domino's pizza. And then she
We go to the
they,
Shining Overlook
yeah,
Hotel.
they lure her to the Overlook Hotel, is what happens.
Yeah.
And he goes in there, talks to the bar. It's all just callbacks. Like
All
we
our
see
favorites.
we see the stairs where Jack Nicholson chased Shelley Duvall with
We
the
see
axe.
the elevator.
We see the ballroom, and he talks to a fake bartender.
We didn't go
that
to the
might be his
bathroom, did
dad.
we? That cool red bathroom.
I don't think we did see the bathroom.
That was a mess
They
up.
should just had a scene with where Ewan McGregor just takes a piss.
Yeah, just so we can have it in the movie. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh my god! But the whole place is like decrepit. The windows are boarded up and shit.
It's like
The
when we go
lights
back
are
to
off.
Sunnydale High School and it's blown up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like that. You're right. It's kind of just like that.
Yep.
But he turns the electricity on. He makes the kid wait outside, and it's really cold out. I thought that's kind of fucked up of him.
Yeah. He knows how treacherous the snow is also.
Yeah, man, he had to hang out there. He immediately ran inside to hide under the cupboard.
And he knows well, I guess they say his dad's body was never found, so he doesn't know his dad died in the snow, I guess. Or is that canon? That's not canon. That didn't happen.
Yeah, it was cut from the movie, so it's not necessarily canon.
Yeah. So he thinks his dad died in the snow still, I think.
Probably. Yeah.
I think so.
Anyway, so Rebecca Ferguson shows up. She's all steamed to the high heavens. So, she has some real powerful Shining at this point.
Yeah, her eyes are
Every
glowing.
time I say that, it makes me laugh. I don't mean to, but it just sounds stupid to my ears.
Well, we never thought about it as like a superpower. Well,
I
I guess
know.
it's kind of like a telekinetic thing, but it's not really like.
But that's a thing with Stephen King. Like so many of his characters have like a psychic element that I always just accepted it in The Shining. But now in this movie, like all the main characters are psychic vampires.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, she's got those eyes. That happens a lot when they die, but here it denotes how powerful she's become.
Yeah, dying and being powerful is the same thing.
So the big plan here is he had put all the demons of the Overlook Hotel in these little boxes in his mind because my brothers taught him to, these little CGI boxes. And so they all open, he opens them up, and all those demons devour Rebecca Ferguson. But wait, they're still out of the boxes and he's right there. So they attack him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't really think that part through.
Yeah.
But he fends. I think Abra comes in and helps him, right? Their eyes turn white and shit.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, it's not really a big deal. They get through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then how's the movie end? I don't even remember.
The movie ends where he burns down the hotel like in the book.
Right.
And he dies, and then later on she's like talking to his ghost version, right?
Yeah, I think the Shining book ends with the Overlook Hotel blows up, but they show like it's being rebuilt and people are already staying there and shit.
That's how
at
the end of the show it says there's like a sign that says rebuilding the Overlook Hotel, and that's like the last shot of the thing.
There you go. So that justifies why it's still built. But like, I guess we're going with the movie version here, so this is probably just the original Overlook Hotel, just boarded up after all these years.
Yeah.
So what's the ending?
He dies. He blows up the Overlook Hotel, and then she like lives a happy life, I think.
Ewan dies?
Yeah, he kills himself.
I forgot that. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now she's like the new head honcho of the Shining verse.
I think so. The way The Shining ends, I kind of don't like this because Stanley Kubrick deliberately decided not to blow up the Overlook, and they wanted to do that because that's what King never got to do. So now in this one, they're gonna do the book, the Doctor Sleep, where.
But I don't. So in the book, Doctor Sleep, does the rebuilt Overlook blow up?
No, I think we were retconning from the first movie. We were like, we never got to do it from the first movie.
That's what I think too. I think Mike Flanagan is just like, we'll do the thing from the first book.
But it kind of sucks because in doing that, we had Danny die, like, which didn't need to happen. Like now we had to go kill it, and now Danny had to sacrifice himself, which didn't need to happen otherwise.
I kind of think it's a fucked up message to send too, because the whole movie is about how you can escape trauma and rebuild your life into something profound and worthwhile. Which is really what it feels like to get sober. And then at the end of the movie, we just have him blow up and kill himself. It's almost like the message of the movie is like, you can't really escape your demons, but that ain't true.
I agree with that, and that's a problem that I have with this. It felt like that's more like to appease the fans of the book and Steven rather than make something that makes sense. I don't like that Danny has to die.
Yeah, it bothered me a lot. What do you give Dr. Sleep?
I'll give it a 3.
5.
I'll give it a 3.
You're gonna give it a 3. I gotta say I'm sticking with a 2, but I am more open to a 3 than I used to be. I considered giving it a 3 myself. Okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely, it improved on a second viewing for me. I just have too many nagging problems with it.
I get it. I completely get it. I think it's more closer to a 2 than a 4, honestly. But I think I'm firmly at a 3. But it's well made, well acted. The idea is cool of like getting the kids for The Shining, but too much doesn't make sense and rubs me the wrong way.
I do think 3 is probably the correct grade for this. I just have personal issues with it.
I get it. And the alcohol thing maybe hits close to home and doesn't really feel good, maybe.
Yeah, which is fucked up because I think early on they do a really good job with the alcoholism. Like Ewan plays it really well. That AA meeting he goes to, the conversation he has with Bruce Greenwood, a lot of it's really well done, but they really lose that thread by the end.
Yeah, I want to say the opening too with the little girl, and we like see like the one guy in the woods, and then we see like more people in the woods. That's really well shot and edited. I feel like that was shot like Kubrick did it. They're like all in the middle of the frame, and the camera would like pan quickly to the right, quickly to the left.
Yeah,
It
and I
felt like it
thought
was shot like
that scene felt legit scary to me.
yeah, scariest part of the movie, probably aside from the Tremblay.
The
Scene.
Tremblay, yeah, the Tremblay.
He was
thing's hilarious.
trembling. I'll tell you that much. Has anyone ever said that? I don't know.
All right, who's
all right,
your?
Ferguson. I'm gonna go Ferguson. She's a firecracker. I love her.
I am not gonna go Ferguson.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to go with that blonde girl, but I'm not going to.
I thought you were gonna go Curtis.
Yeah, that's who I'm gonna go with, Cliff Curtis.
I love it. And I'm gonna go Crow Daddy from my LVP, and you're gonna go the little girl, Abra.
Yeah, yeah. And I gotta say, I didn't check her IMDb until after watching the movie, and so when I saw it, I was like, oh, she's in The Fall of the House of Usher, and I remembered her, and she's really good in that. So, however I feel about her here, she's turned into a very worthwhile actress. But I just really I didn't get on board with this character ever, and I don't think the performance helped.
All right. I mean, I can't really fight against that. I thought she was she seemed like measured, kind of like
Listen, she was often measured, and to me, it felt like so measured that there's nothing there.
That's fair. I mean, I really can't argue that. I get that.
Yeah, but clearly Flanagan saw something in her, and he was right to. So I'm not gonna argue with that dude anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Ouija
Anyway.
next week, though.
Is that what's next week? No, we got something else coming next week. All right, so that's the Shining franchise, huh?
Wow, one of our longest episodes ever.
Yeah, it really is, man.
We're going
Jesus,
for like
11,
3
15.
hours.
Yeah. Yeah, over 3 hours, I think. But this was always going to be kind of an intense one, and we got through it, and we said a lot. So, boom.
Yeah. So what's next week?
Well, first,
should we read what happened Wednesday? Or with Wednesday, the show?
Yeah, you can do the Wednesday thing. And we got a comment from Jelly Tussle on Dr. Sleep where he says, I thought Dr. Sleep started well, but ended up like an episode of American Horror Story. And I can see that.
American Horror Story. I've never seen that.
Yeah. I watched the first 2 seasons.
We're going to read all these comments from which one do you want to do first?
Well, I just did that. I read that comment.
Well, there's 8 comments here. Shining a Dr. Sleep.
Oh, really? Holy shit. Yeah.
Well, some of them are from us. We commented too.
Okay.
You do that first?
Yeah.
Okay. So Maddie Rags. Oh, he asked what we were doing on the mini series. We told him, right?
Yeah. Babcock was also confused about that. Sorry, we'll be more clear next time. We were never quite sure whether we were going to do full coverage of that.
Yeah. I didn't know it was as long as it was. It's almost 5 hours. It's 4.5 hours long in total.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either. I remember it being 3 hours, but it's got a whole 90-minute third part. So it's actually 4.5 hours.
So Babcock says, I was literally, he says that. And then he says, again, I'll hear you out this week, but I think you're underrating Dr. Sleep. I might be in the minority on that one. I don't think
I don't think he is. I think I'm in the minority on this one.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think people like it. Some love it. People like it to love it.
I saw mostly 3s and 4s from the people I follow on Letterboxd.
And Laura __94 says, not related to the movies, and I'm not sure this is the right day to say this is on, or indeed the right way of saying it, but I'd like to wish everyone who celebrates it a happy and joyful Passover.
Oh, well, thank you, Laura. She sent that yesterday, which was the correct day. Yeah. And I thank you. I have been having a happy Passover. Some delicious Jew food for me, and I'm celebrating in my own kind of reform way. So thanks for saying that. Only a couple people did, so it means something.
Yeah. Should we read the review from Laura __94?
Oh yeah, I forgot she wrote that great review.
Looks like it's updated.
Really interesting.
Or maybe I didn't click on the read more.
Oh no, yeah, it's kind of long. Read it. It's
You want to
very
read it?
nice. I don't have it pulled up.
Okay.
It's on iTunes though, and
iTunes. Shit.
thank you. We don't always say when Aussie Scott leaves one because he does it a lot, which we appreciate it. But guys, leave us some iTunes reviews. Those are helpful to us.
All the reviews I see, I feel like we read though, right? We don't really get them that often, if ever. But well, let's read this one.
I feel like a couple times Aussie Scott's left a new one, and we haven't remembered to read it because he's left so many. But
they may not be on the iTunes then, because I only see those.
Yeah, I pulled it up, so if you want me to read it, I can.
Oh, I've got it. But if you want to go, you can.
All right, Buffy's Angels, and hey, I'm watching here.
We'll read
Oh,
the main
it
thing.
starts. I highly recommend a Patreon subscription. That's the title of the review. 5 stars. Buffy's Angels and Hey, I'm watching here. Absolute gems, particularly when Logan underrates movies that are perceived by everyone else.
That doesn't
classics.
happen.
Apocalypse Now, 4 stars. All right. This might not be a popular opinion. This is hilarious. This might not be a popular opinion, but I love every time Shut Up Tim makes an appearance. I hope that's a popular opinion. I love Shut Up Tim.
I think it is. I think it's like unpopular for like the Real Weird Sisters audience, but over here, everyone that listens loves Tim. I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. But I love every time Shut Up Tim makes an appearance, and I've been really enjoying catching up with the We Love Kids movies episodes. And I'll tell you what, that struck a chord. We might do more of those just because you wrote
that got
that.
Daniel excited.
Yeah, it sort of made me more interested in doing that. All right. While the humor and she might be British. She spelled humor with a U.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. While the humor and banter might have been what first drew me to the show, there's so many genuinely emotional and heartwarming moments between the hosts, particularly on the Patreon episodes. Yeah, we get a little more personal over there. And there's nothing more wholesome than 2 men discussing during which moments of Buffy they teared up.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. Like that really encapsulated what the whole show is.
I agree. It is like really all encompassing. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura.
All right. So thank you so much, Laura. Are there more Dr. Sleep comments?
No more Dr. Sleep, but you want to go back to
Wednesday. Yeah. So I had asked people to explain to me why Wednesday is not a one.
Yeah, Daniel hated it. He said, "Tell me why I'm wrong." So
yeah,
Josh Merlis says, "Oh, he's unrelated. He's talking about Inside Out 2."
Oh, right. Well, we should cover that when it comes out.
He says Big Mouth confirms a lot about what we said about Inside Out 2. So I guess that's what that's about.
I sort of agree with that because that's all about like going through puberty and shit, which is what this movie will be about.
Yeah, Pubert. Also in Pubert, not in Wednesday, but was in the other one.
Definitely an Addams Family character.
Joshua Cole says it was fine for what it is. It's a 3. Ortega's fine, not great. Doohan is good in it, and he's good in general. I'm a fan.
Look at that. That's the guy we made LVP.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All right. Maybe we were underrating that dude. Maybe just not great in the pilot.
That's very possible. Fun fact, he's playing a 16-year-old, but he's like 30, gay, and married to his longtime partner. Wow.
That's funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So Laura, again, over here on the Patreon, she says, "Sorry, Logan, I'm with Daniel on this. The weirdness is just too forced, especially in scenes with the purpose of establishing how much more introverted she is compared to her roommate. I feel like a lot of shows that try to get their characters to come across as particularly tough suffer from very unnatural dialogues to the point where it affects the quality of the acting. So going for weird more than real character here."
What a great comment. What an accurate comment.
That's good, Laura. I can't disagree with it. Josh Merlis, he says, "Oh, has Dan come around on Outside?"
What is Outside? I don't even know what he's talking about.
I have no idea.
Does he mean like going outside? It might be because I said like I like the sun.
That's capital.
What's outside then?
I'm looking it up. Do you mean outsider?
Does he mean the Stained song? I'm on the outside.
Yes, that's what I'm
looking.
Why do you hate that one?
I don't.
He wants you to come around on it. I don't know what that comment is.
On it. I don't
remember
like
him-
the acoustic version with Fred Durst, but I like the full band version.
Maybe this helps. He says, I remember him talking shit about it for a while back. I want to hear him talk about it. Just using this thread to respond to the episode. Sorry, you don't have to apologize.
I
don't know what that
no
is.
idea what you're talking about, Josh. So
Elaborate
please,
on this post.
Yes, I
Well,
would
this
love
isn't going to be a
hear-
main post. I don't know how you can
Yeah.
elaborate.
Explain.
On the Shining post when I asked for questions, I guess comment there. All right. So Michael Graff says, I only watched 2 episodes when it came out and dropped it. My 12-year-old loves it though. So kids
That is
love it.
exactly what it feels like. It feels like it's for 12-year-old girls.
He didn't say if it was a boy or a girl. He said my 12-year-old loves
I bet it's a girl.
it. He says, off topic, but since you brought up young Sheldon, when Janine shows up in the new Ghostbusters movie, my son turns to me and screams, Dad, it's Mima from Young Sheldon. He did not know she was in the original Ghostbusters. I remember
That's
reading that. I
Fucking
laughed so hard.
delightful. That is so funny.
That was hilarious. Oh my god.
It's me,
Imagine
Mom,
that
from Young
happening.
Sheldon.
That's so funny.
I mean,
David,
I get it though, because like kids are like that. I was like that as a kid. Like for
Same.
years, I still, when I watch an old movie with James Garner in it, I'm like, hey, it's James Garner from Space Cowboys.
James Garner from The Notebook.
Yeah.
Is that the third episode
Yeah.
in a row James Garner's come up?
Well, just because I watched that Americanization of Emily recently, he was really good in that. So he's top of mind.
David says the last comment. He says, "I remember watching it all in one day when it came out. It kept my
Wow.
attention, but it was the definition of okay.
That feels right.
I didn't argue it was better than anything but okay. I don't think so. We're on
No,
agreement.
no, I feel like everyone's kind of like not that high on it. The list. See,
No,
our listeners are too smart.
I
We
agree.
need a few dumber listeners.
I'm
who can
trying.
comment on
I'm
things
trying to
like
get us some dumb
that.
listeners.
I know you are, man. You're really going to the limit to
Yeah.
try to catch us some dummies.
Yeah, 13 Reasons Why. Where were those fans at? Come on. No, that's a good show for the
I
first 2
know, I know.
seasons.
But yeah, so thanks for commenting on all that shit. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Shout out to all of you. Anything else? Oh, tell us what we're doing next week. I think we already know.
Yeah, I think I might have announced it already, but it's we've got our good friend Ross Beck, the founder and proprietor of Ross Flicks. He what happened? He won fantasy basketball, right?
Yep,
He was in the
sadly.
finals with Logan,
Yep.
and
lost.
Logan lost to Ross Beck. A great job from Ross Beck. And his pick for us to cover is the Universal Soldier franchise. All right. Now, that is an interesting franchise that's worthwhile to cover. We're going to be doing it for the next 3 weeks, I think.
Yep.
So the first one, I don't even know how it works. Like the first one is with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. It's by Roland Emmerich, one of my all-time faves. But then the sequel is Universal Soldier: The Return, which is supposed to be really bad. And Van Damme did come back for that one. So those are the 2 we're covering next week. The following week will be Universal Soldier. Fuck, I can't even find like something with the whole franchise listed. Here's what we got. Okay, so there's only 5. I thought there were 6.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So we're doing one movie next week?
No, I think we should do the first 2 and then just do it in 2 weeks. We'll do 3, 4, 5.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. So oh wait. There are 6. It's just sort of weird. Listen to this. So
Yeah.
next week we're covering Universal Soldier by Roland Emmerich, and then Universal Soldier 2, Brothers in Arms. Okay. And
Yeah.
that one was straight to TV, and Jean-Claude Van Damme's nowhere to be found. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's followed up with Universal Soldier 3, Unfinished Business, which we'll cover in week 2. That's another made for TV, no Jean-Claude Van Damme, but it does have Burt Reynolds. And then we'll also cover Universal Soldier: The Return, which is the 4th one. I always thought it was the sequel, but it's the 4th one. And that brings back Jean-Claude Van Damme, but not Dolph Lundgren. and it also features Goldberg from WCW.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the final week, we cover these 2 direct-to-video ones, which people really like. Universal Soldier Regeneration, which brings back Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. And then you also got Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. And I feel like those last 2 like got strangely good reviews.
Yeah, Ross told me that he loves the last one. He said the last one's a hidden gem. He told me.
Yeah. So look at this. The Wikipedia page says, though criticized for its brutal violence, others gave high praise for its direction, action, and haunting atmosphere, with some comparisons made to the works of Michael Haneke and David Lynch.
All right.
That's
pretty cool.
fucking insane. I can't wait to watch that one. All right,
Yeah.
so that's how it's going to go. Next week, Universal Soldier and Universal Soldier 2. Following week, Universal Soldier 3 and The Return. And then the third week will be the 2 direct-to-DVD ones. All right, guys. Universal Soldier next week.
With Tim.
Logan with Tim. That's right. We're going to have Shut Up Tim on. And Logan, you can use the bathroom now. I'm going to go watch some Melrose Place.